couple of you guys in at a time. Or not, no, he disappeared. Oh, well shit, as soon as I dragged him in. Well, you have been chosen. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, let me do that real quick. Yeah, close enough. He has a PNG. Oh, well, look at that.
have questions, just say them and I'll come back.
Oh, hello, everybody. Oh, where'd my Fugi go? There's my Fugi. It is hot out. I don't feel like having my model up. So, you guys get the PNGs.
Yeah.
And plus, that means on Kick, I won't be segregated to the VTuber category. Since I don't have my model out.
Hey.
I think that's my one gripe with Kick, is that they kind of segregate all the VTubers into their own little space. And no matter what they're doing, game or otherwise, they segregate you. It's like, you know,
haven't there been a bunch of others who complained about that before?
You Yeah, it's like one of those things where I'm not bothered by it, but I think it's kind of silly, especially when like a large game releases. But yeah, otherwise it's been pretty fucking great over there. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about the guard today. That's gonna be quite fun. I know a lot of people have been asking for us to cover the guard and all their unloved glory. There needs to be more guard videos and content because besides other people having apparently only 10-minute videos, we have Arch from yesteryear, aka almost 10 years ago, talking about it. You know, maybe we could bully the Pontius into making a guard video.
Yeah.
As the Arch is the meat and potatoes type of lore videos, his are chonky.
Yeah. The ones I could find were either the 10 minutes, like 30 minutes where it was like, this is okay, or have a 5-hour autism rant.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, and Lumi, I just sent you a little short that is a good description of what the guard is.
Also, remember, share screen, Lumi. Don't be
I guess I thought you guys were just gonna interpret it through binary code and be like, "Oh yes, I can see everything."
Just watch it through the stream. If
I like the Mechanicus. I am not a tech priest. That is above my pay grade.
Speaking of mechanical stuff, back in when you reacted to Necron stuff, I sent you a couple short videos. I'm not sure if you got the chance to see them. I think you would love them.
I think I did, but I'll probably rewatch them. On stream quality, y'all don't need that high. We're not doing anything. Oh, and also for those of you who may not, like, I wanted to just show this off because I love the art so much. But for those of you who may not know, I am doing a D&D campaign with Shadow Walker and stuff offline. Maybe nice. we'll do one. Maybe we'll do one via streaming on the next one, but who knows? But I'm getting my character Nem drawn, and look at her, she's perfect.
Nem is Nem.
Nem is Nem, and I love her.
What a precious little creature.
The chaotic Nem that just... You just figure out all the bullshit I'm trying to do, Lumi.
And we actually get
what
to see
rules are you using for her, since I don't think rat folk are in D&D?
So we are playing the Crooked Moon campaign that's made by the Legends of Evantris, and they have a rat race called the Plagueborn. And we saw that, we picked that.
Yes.
She is technically a small creature, however, I'm not dealing with all the nonsense of, she has to use small weapons, so everything's like a die weaker. I'm like, nope, not dealing with that.
Oh, that's an excellent source you've got there, then.
Hello, Alex. Okay, I will drag you in, since I know you've been patiently waiting for many weeks to talk about your precious guard. I will drag you in. We will max it out at 4 guests, so then the autism doesn't, like, destroy my internet somehow.
So... when do you have, like, when do you want me to take off my socks? Do I have to wait for some kind of alert for that, or...?
No, it's not you two. Shut up. If you're even out and that aren't perfect for LumLum. Plagueborn don't need shoes, though.
No, they just rats.
They're just rats.
Lumi, on the videos you got, you can play this one first. You can also do like the second one first.
Praise be the horned rat. Yes.
Praise be to the horned
Yes.
We will watch. We'll watch this little video that Shadow Walker sent me first, as a little introduction for the guard.
Screen, finally, it's adorable.
And before we continue, let me do the super chats really quick, since there's not many of them, and I'm sure we'll get lost in the sauce.
I'll try to keep up.
Let's see. One Thumb Jim was here. Thank you for stopping by, One Thumb Jim. Sajad, thank you for being a member for 4 months. To check out all the Guardsman Party, it's a great 40k tabletop story.
Oh, that is pretty funny.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
It's
one
a
that
green
someone
text.
narrates, basically a Wrath and Glory game, I think.
It's a green text story from 4chan about a guys who like they play a D&D game. Basically, it's a tabletop, but they have like a million characters and they're all guardsmen because they all keep dying so often.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's great.
Reverend Norris, glory to the Guard. Keep up the lore dive, Lumi. Thank you. I know people have been asking for the Guard for a while.
Some of us
Alexander
multiple-
Adamson, I already let you in. Draken, Fish Too Horny, Bonk. You haven't seen anything yet in terms
I
of
have,
horny
it
that
scares
I
me.
enjoy.
It scares me.
The Guard are the second best faction in the game, so obviously.
And Anthony, the
not
feet are
everyone
even
can
out
be
in
the
that art
Grim
piece
Knight.
for LumLum. Shut up. LumLum, did you catch my message on Arch's stream? If you actually do a Homestuck stream, you gotta get Dust to rat for it. Before 40k's
Oh,
autism
no.
was dedicated to. Oh no, you too?
In my defense, my ex at the time got me into it.
That doesn't help. That makes it worse.
It makes you feel
It's
better.
funny that you're here for this.
It makes you feel better. Mine is getting into Necrons. I got her little Canoptic Wraith because she thinks, or a Canoptic Spider because she thinks they're cute.
As in, one of the shorts I sent LumLum was about the spiders bullying Lord of Skulls. If you've probably seen it.
Yes. Alright,
If you want Homestuck autism at any point, just hit me up.
Okay, I gotcha.
Alright, now we gotta ban him. He said the word Homestuck.
Someone did. Wait, hold on, I already did that. First episode of Guardsman is Darwin character creation.
Oh
The
yeah.
Old Guardsman Party is actually a pretty good, fun little read.
Okay, well, I will definitely
Or a
have
listen,
have
depending
to
on.
do that. We will have to listen through that sometime. Maybe do like a stream of Warhammer green text posts.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. Mr. Twisted Frenzy, hello. I posted a video in the Warhammer chat about the Great Commissar Yarrick. It is very long, so watch it now or on your own time, whichever you prefer. You know?
I mean, she
Oh,
kinda
Oh, that's
knows
one of
about-
those
she kinda knows
3-hour
about Yarrick.
ones.
Yeah.
Or you can watch Hell's Reach and learn
Yeah,
about
you
Yarrick
watch
that
Hell's
way.
Oh, we watched Tales to Reach.
Yeah, we watched Tales
Oh,
to
well then you
Reach.
know about Yarrick.
Yes.
Kind of. We watched
Well,
we watched the Hell's Reach series in the Discord.
That does skip the part where he got run over by a tank, but
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, different Lumi,
Got
you don't
ran over
understand.
by. Okay. All right.
He's
Yeah,
old
depends
and
on which
crabby.
version of the lore you're going with. He either got ran over by a Baneblade tank, which is stupidly big, or he got ran over by a Gargant.
Either way, he built different.
He is built different.
Built
either way,
different.
he got ran over by like 100 tons of steel.
And lived.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Based, because Giga Chad Yarrick.
All right.
All right.
I think the thing behind that is the orcs believe him to be unkillable, therefore he is.
And
well,
that's
it
why everyone's
was.
mad about how his story supposedly ended.
Yeah, I reject
until
that
I
canon.
see a body, I reject that.
Agreed.
I'm actually of the opinion that Cadia never fell, because I just reject that law.
Well, don't you know they've retaken the Cadian system with that weird fucking short where they're fucking on the hive city in space. So you know.
Yeah, it's just a little 6
But-
seconds.
Okay.
This is why I avoid modern 40k law. Jesus Christ.
Oh, dude, it's
Screw
the,
New
it's the
Hammer.
new
Yes,
Hammer and Bolter 3D animation. If you look at it, you'll find it. It's cringe. I hate it.
it's awful.
No, I've
Like,
been avoiding Warhammer Plus shit like the fucking plague,
because
dude.
after that episode, I'm still astonished that they continue producing more of it.
Because money, and there's always going to be people who are going to pay for it to watch it. Because
Only
you
good
know,
part of this shit was the
That
silence. And that's
that whole show has less frames than poor African children have access to food and water.
And it is
that's
so
why
much
they're
fucking
3D now,
potential,
because
like-
it's easy.
Okay, let me pitch this idea right now.
Alright.
Warhammer 40k anime.
Okay. Who's it following?
Okay.
That's what Hammer and Bottler could have been.
It could have.
It
It's
could
kind
have.
of in style, but it's only running at 4 frames per second. That was the problem.
Well, no, you outsource the animation to a literal anime studio, and they'll just work for, like, I don't know, slave labor, as typical Japanese anime studios are wont to do.
Or even Koreans, because they also do animation for allegedly cheap.
This is
It
true,
wasn't
and
it
then you can actually
that
afford to have
Korean
frames.
studio that did Batman the Animated Series.
Huh.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
More or less.
This sums up what the Guard is.
Yeah.
Okay.
The commander of the Imperial Army is in charge. The Wall of Guns.
Yes, that
Basically.
Yeah, pretty
that's what the Guard is.
Just a wall of guns.
Yes.
Well, they can act like modern soldiers as well. It's there's a lot of memes and misconceptions of what the Guard really do, but it's like you see a modern day soldier with better gear. That's what an Imperial Guardsman is. The whole fix bayonets and charge across no man's land is a thing they do, but not all of what they do.
The problem
A
is that
handful of them
40K
do
is
that.
all
It's not like literally every regiment will be like, all right, lads,
Yeah.
we're gonna march straight into enemy fire until they run out of bullets.
The Death Corps do that because they're only deployed in war zones where that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
But the Wall of Guns description is quite apt, since there is the ever magnificent quote of, anyone who laughs at the power of the humble lasgun has not waded through a field of 500 of them.
Yup.
And that's why I put the last gun as another video, but I mean, we can start this one whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was saying the main problem with 40K being displayed in lore is that it's made by British people who know how guns work.
Motherfucker, we on the
Greetings
fucking
and
world!
salutations, friends, and welcome back to yet more war.
Oh, he sounds so young and hopeful for life.
This is
I
art from
know.
almost 10 years ago.
Yep.
I remember
Oh.
these videos when they came out. He was so. Also,
So
yeah,
young
The
and
good
full
old
of
days
life.
before we knew.
Was this before Gamergate?
what's the date on this again?
It's 8 years ago, so it's probably right.
Does that put it to 2017, so
after. It's like
Gamergate
4
would have
years
passed
after.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
4 years after Gamergate. He came out of it pretty good. He wasn't actually that involved in it. He was just kind of friends with Sargon.
Yeah. He just got corrupted later, I suppose. It wore
Uh,
him down over time.
you know, I don't know if well, judging by how the videos of from Arts that you sent me are almost a decade old now.
Yes.
You should probably just be like, hey Arch, do you want to revamp these Guard videos? And I'm sure he'll probably
Yeah,
say
he really should.
no. But, you know.
He really
Hush,
should.
Eclipse. Yes, I know.
Hi, you're already de-rich. Shh. Hush
I
now.
mean, he can't even fucking answer my DMs, Lumi. He's not gonna get a hold of any of that. He's not gonna care.
Yeah, that's why you DM Lumi and then she DMs Arch.
I did, and you know what happened? He still didn't respond because he's fat with patience and can't be bothered to type.
Well, yeah, but if you go through Lumi, you at least have a better chance.
Yeah.
You need to first bring him more pastries to entice him.
I
I
mean,
pay for
I-
his pastries every month. What do you mean?
You know what?
But
You
Fair.
think he notices?
Arch
You're
is
just
incredibly
the wall
fickle.
of
I mean,
wallets.
one time I sent Arch a meme and he responded, so I don't know what the fuck's going on with him.
You know,
Who knows?
he's been busy lately, honestly. Because some
No,
days,
but I mean, like-
some days he'll be like super chatty, and it's weird because he's super chatty. But then there can be a day or a couple days where I just never hear from him, and usually I can assume that he's doing something for his tabletop or doing some IRL things, like going out of
Or
the
both.
house for at least 10 minutes and then having to recover from sun exposure.
It's just the consistency is weird. Like I send him something relatively important for him, like, oh, like, hey, check this out, and then later I send him a meme and then he responds to it. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Huh.
Weird.
I
Just,
guess he's being infected by VTuber brain.
Maybe
Maybe.
Too much time around Lumi will do that.
respond to pointless shit and don't respond to important stuff.
Man, this does sound like Lumi. Wait a minute, we're onto something here.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Have we ever seen the
let's-
two of them in the same room?
Oh my god, shut
I
up.
mean,
Let's
Akko has a voice changer. Akko has a voice
continue.
changer.
Alright, continue the video.
Warhammer 40k lore. Today we will be talking about the Imperial Guard, but not quite the Imperial Guard. We will be talking about the Penal Legions. As the name already suggests, these are not entirely voluntary formations. They are, technically speaking, a part of the Imperial Guard, although they are generally speaking not deployed as regiments would be. They are not deployed in their own units, so to say. You wouldn't send a Penal Legion to take a specific objective. You would attach Penal Legion detachments of varying sizes to other forces. For example, a Cadian shock army might have a Penal Legion attached to it, consisting of a few thousand individuals, who would then receive their orders from the Imperial Guard command structure, e.g., in this case, the regimental command, and they would then operate as a part of that Imperial Guard unit for all intents and purposes. Exactly like how a unit of Sentinels might be attached.
Can you see what they said about you in that Discord? Oh, which Discord? Kickbot? Oh, the Kickbot Discord? No. I sometimes look in there when it comes to me needing to do some VOD stuff. I don't see anything about me being talked about. Yeah, oh well. If it's anything of importance, somebody would have said something about it. And anyways, let's continue.
To a regiment, or perhaps a unit of Lehman Russ tanks, etc. Although granted, on a very, very, very few and very, very special occasions, the Penal Legions might be deployed as a unit in their own right, but this is almost never done in a war zone manner. Deployments like this are almost always overseen by the Inquisition, the Ordo Xenos, Malus Hereticus, or possibly, and this is even rarer, they might be given a highly specialized mission by the Grand Lords of the Imperium itself. Now, do bear in mind, this doesn't have to be the High Lords, but a planetary governor, for example, assuming he has enough leeway within the various controlling organs of the higher administratum, might be able to dispatch a unit of, technically, Penal Legion troops on very specific tasks, although, in this case, they wouldn't in all their reality be true Penal Legion, so hell, the word Penal Legion in and of itself is quite flexible, and it is supposed to be so. Penal Legion troops can be practically anything. They can be used as even relative...
Was that
That was my fridge
Arch?
door.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, like, Arch, dear lord!
It is Arch.
I didn't think it would get picked up on my microphone, that's my bad.
Also, Lumi, maybe speed up the video a little bit so we can get through it quicker.
Oh, right, he talks in, like, half speed in his old videos.
Yeah, Arch waffles.
We need to get through
does.
multiple videos this stream, Lumi.
Yeah! Well, this one is only, like, 25 minutes long. It's not like his...
So it's like nothing
2 hours.
for Arch.
Exactly.
So
One
they
of his
cost 15
shorter
minutes
ones, to be
total.
honest.
Alright, let's do 1.25 so we can still understand him if he gets super passionate about something, I guess.
You say 1.25, I regularly watch stuff on 2 times speed. It feels normal to me already.
advanced and competent shock troops. In some cases, they can be used as good old-fashioned meat shields. Occasionally, particularly useless regiments will simply be marched into minefields to clear the way for actually competent troops. And hell, in some cases, Penal Legion troops can themselves be used as highly specialized elite forces. Granted, highly specialized elite forces that has absolutely no say in what they're going to be ordered to do, but pretty damn good at what they're doing nevertheless. Essentially, Penal Legion is a catch-all term for formations of what is, technically speaking, Imperial Guardsmen who have been forced into service after committing some form of crime, and this crime can vary greatly, as it is entirely up to the individual Imperial world, and in many cases, seeing as a lot of the recruits do come from Imperial Guard regiments, the regiment in question, what manner of crime and or infraction might be punished by a position in a Penal Legion.
Okay, that is smart, taking prisoners that are, like, you know, set up for the death penalty anyway, just kind of send them out to be fodder.
Yeah.
Not quite
There's,
death penalty,
Not
but,
even just for
like,
the death penalty.
Oh yeah,
Technically,
like, rioting, sedition, dereliction of duty. If you're in the guard, like if you're in the guard, you can get sent to a penal regiment as punishment.
Oh,
It's based off of the system they had during World War II. The Soviets and the Germans both did this, where you just take a soldier who has committed some sort of offence and you have them do the jobs that you're not willing to have other soldiers do, pretty much.
It's like one step below death penalty. Like, you didn't fuck up enough to get shot, but you fucked up enough that you can't either be a soldier or like be a civilian or anymore.
Okay, I'll give an example from the movie Stalingrad, which is really good. You should watch that, by the way. Some officer has a wounded man. He breaks into an aid station, forces a doctor at gunpoint to give his men medical treatment, but he dies. And then he and his squad get sent off to go literally clear a minefield as punishment. And then once that's done, once he's done some service, he gets reinstated, gets his rank given back, and his squad gets sent back to the front lines. Pretty much. It's just, you get sentenced to do some sort of work that is really grueling and really, really shitty, and once you've proven yourself to have done penance, you get let back into the army. Although it's not
Potentially.
Permanent.
However, more than likely, they're going to use you as cannon fodder.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that the Imperium is not willing to make guardsmen do. So if you're having to use a penal legion for the job, it's going to be a fucking shit job.
Point is, if you're put in a penal legion, the bullets your body will eat from the enemy are more expensive than your body to the people sending you forward.
Yeah. It can also happen if an Inquisitor decides your whole planet is just a little too suspicious and your entire population is going to be turned into regiments.
Oh yeah, that happens too.
That happened a few times in the Badab War in particular.
Sometimes they'll just sterilize you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Generally speaking, these crimes are things like murder, rape, pillaging, stuff that wouldn't be accepted in everyday society, either within Imperial Guard regiments, although in this case, of course, murder is of a slightly different type, or within civilian life. However, on occasion, the Imperium finds itself in need of more troops to throw into the everlasting meat grinder, in which case, penal legion status can be offered up to people who have committed lesser crimes. Essentially, prisoners will be given a choice. You may enroll in a penal legion, or serve out your full sentence. That full sentence will, of course, almost invariably be made considerably harsher, what with the prisoner already having refused salvation. Think violent prison rape just on a daily basis.
Oh.
That also being based off the very British Napoleonic practice of making convicts into soldiers. We used to do this a lot. You commit murder, well, you go in front of a magistrate and you go, well, either you get hung, deported to Australia, or you join the British Army. Which
That's
is what
why during war, crime tends to go down a bit.
Yeah. Although our soldiers were the best in the world, so it clearly...
Like,
our soldiers were the best in the world, so it was clearly a worthwhile practice.
Of course, the best in the world. They didn't have a choice. But like Vietnam in particular, like Vietnam and World War II, like crime went down significantly, like murder and stuff like that, and that's because all the psychopaths signed up.
Psychos, murderers, and whatnot. You give them a gun and set them on the enemy, and they perform well. Wow, who'd have seen that?
Yeah. And you
conquer
the world.
I think there was a marked drop in like hate crimes, like race hate crimes during World War II, because all the racists went to go kill the Japanese.
Yep.
Jesus.
Anyway,
continuing on.
See, racism can be useful.
I want to
And
flex
if
my
times are
Napoleonic
particularly
war knowledge.
odd, there might be other crimes that could be punished by a penal legion posting. For example, stealing somebody's teddy bear or speaking ill of the local Lord Governor, whatever is required to fill up the ranks, essentially. And occasionally, if the need is especially grave, entire planets may be turned into penal colonies that produce penal legions. One such example was the Imperial mining world of Savlar, a nasty piece of rock in and of itself being a toxic hellhole, infamous for its sheer shittiness of existence. It used to be a rich world, rich in ore and chemical deposits, and it used to produce lots and lots of nice stuff for the Imperium. But as with all things, the resources eventually ran dry, and once the planet started to fail to meet its Imperial heights, the Imperium decided that the entire planet would be turned into a penal colony. They would start shipping all manners of traitors, deviants, and criminals to this colony to mine out whatever meager riches remained on the planet. And I hasten to remind you, this was a toxic hellhole before they found themselves having to strip mine everything to find what they were looking for. You can imagine how remarkably terrible this place would be to work at the best of times. Essentially, you're working in a mine where you are trying to find veins of toxic minerals. And now, you have to do this while nobody gives even the faintest fucking shit about whether or not you live past supper because you are a traitor. It's a pretty bad place to live. And due to this simple fact that living arrangements are less than adequate, most people caught on the prison world will happily sign up for a role in a penal legion. And not only that, they will fight like a pair of dogs with stakes strapped to their assholes for the privilege of being thrown headfirst at the Imperium's enemies, armed with little more than a toothbrush and the occasional flashlight. Though, again, there are always exceptions to the rules. This is why they're colloquially called penal legions, because calling them anything specific would be almost entirely pointless, since practically every single goddamn penal regiment has some variant of the standard rule set. And let's use Savlar again as an example. You see, the regiment that plant is most famous for is the Savlar Chem Dogs. This regiment was originally created as an emergency measure because it turns out that if you take large quantities of people, shove them into toxic mines, risk their lives every single day, and then on top of that treats them like absolute shit, then they tend to be somewhat aggressive towards their overlords. And this is precisely what happened. The population of Savlar rose up in violent revolt against the local... Well, I was about to say planetary governor there, but that also is not entirely correct, since penal colonies are not ruled by planetary governors, they are ruled by Adeptus Arbites judges. Irregardless of the leader's title, however, they rose up in violent revolt against the, controlling elements of society, shall we perhaps say. And they were doing pretty damn well, because there's not a whole lot of a guard presence on such a world. A penal colony world is rarely considered to be important enough for even a token garrison of Imperial Guard troops. Mostly there's just a handful of guards, and those guards are not Adeptus Arbites personnel. They are simply just people from the planet that have been promised that if they are willing to beat the shit out of their fellow man, then they will be treated less shitty than the rest of them. Which is a surprisingly convincing argument when you consider just how fucking poorly the people of a penal colony are treated. And it was precisely this...
Yes.
Speak!
Oh, I thought you guys said something.
What is your question, soldier?
No,
Oh.
I saw you, like, go to pause and then stop, so I was just asking, like, oh, did you have a question?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Just my hand twitched. In that...
Oh, okay.
No, but it's like, dear lord, life on a penal colony just, oh my god. And it's like,
I mean,
okay, are they
go there
just...
if you're a horrible person.
Okay.
It's like, when you're on a penal colony, is your only job to just, one, keep the planet running, and two, to have children to also use as cannon fodder?
Yeah,
usually
number two is an option.
Usually it's mining
Number
of
two
some
is an
sort.
option, the children soldiers will be used.
I mean, that's not
Yeah, no,
Penal
not kidding.
colonies tend to get their people influx via undesirables being sent there, but there's occasional, you could say, local population growing. At least if
Yeah,
you
you're-
follow, at least if the speaking of the Kevlar Chem Dogs, if a certain type of artist creates them, they do have that stuff. If you'd like me to send you some examples.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
the Imperium is not going to waste resources sending your child to a boarding school. We'll just say that. They stay on the planet with you if you have them.
Yes, this
Although-
would very much be the children are forced into the mines, regardless if they yearn for it or
Yes.
not.
Keep
So
in mind,
do-
it is also common to sterilize these people in some cases, depending on the
Yeah.
penal colony in question.
Yeah.
Like you can
Usually
send there
heresy
and
is involved.
sterilize before.
Yeah, so
Usually you
any
do that
new
because
population is
it's
basically
not
getting shipped in.
yeah,
Sterilization is typical because again, you can control a population count way easier if you know exactly how many people are there, because they can't be any more than what you ship.
Oh, what the fuck is this? Hold on.
This is
Savlar
Things that
Chemdog
exist.
girlfriend.
oh god.
Kissing her gives the effect of combat drugs. Quote, if that woman looks at you again, I will sell her organs on the black market. I once looted a Tau railgun, afraid of being sober. I'm addicted to you, Anon. It's always high. Give me loot or give me death. I want to cover your body in cocaine, then snort it, Anon. Tech priests hate her. Steal better equipment for you.
Yeah, so I don't know if Arch has mentioned it yet, but chem dogs, as a incentive, basically get told, look, anything you kill, you can keep it.
Just don't.
So they are notorious for stealing literally everything.
The Necromonger way, you keep what you kill.
You know,
Space gypsy.
I am now
Anyone gets
I am
the
now
reference?
suddenly getting ideas for Num. Thank you.
The comment about Brewer days ago, if
Be
you
the
steal
murder
from
hobo.
They're like, if you steal from other Imperials, I don't care, just don't get caught.
Yeah,
Lumi
basically.
gonna play as a
Get
meth
caught,
head
I'm gonna
rat.
shoot you.
Are you out of your mind, Guardsman? Would you like to be banged on the table too?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my fucking god. Oh, that's beautiful. I love the cocaine fueled girlfriends already.
Oh, there's
You're
one
actually
of those
literally
for every
cocaine.
Imperial Guard regiment, Lumi. Those comics are adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
They
it.
are literally cocaine fueled, by the way. The Savlar chem dogs are
Okay,
chem
so
dogs.
a
'cause
slight
Yeah,
correction
plenty of
from
those.
Eclipse. They don't even have to kill anything. They're literally just told, hey, you can steal whatever you want as long as A, if it's guard, don't get caught. B, don't get caught.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. I didn't see it. I'm
Not a
turning my
crime.
back now, and I don't know what's happening behind me.
It's not a crime if no one sees you do it. As
And
far
that's
as the
because one of
commissar
the-
is concerned, you always have that.
That's because the highest punishment a chem dog can get is not being executed, but is being sent back to Savlar because it sucks that bad.
Yep.
If only Nostromo still existed and they think Sevlar was a paradise.
I
Oh,
know, right?
Christ. Necromunda
Conrad,
has to be a close second.
Oh, Necromunda's peachy compared to stuff like Sevlar. Compared to Nostromo, everything is just... I'd rather go there, yes.
Yeah.
God, we need to talk about the Night Lords at some point.
Conrad did nothing wrong. I'm saying it right now.
Yeah, he did a lot of things wrong.
The only thing he did wrong was not being brutal enough because they revolted.
Yeah, the only thing he did wrong was leaving Nostromo, is what you mean.
Oh, that's plot reasons. That's
Yeah.
He did a lot of things
Let's
wrong, but we can talk about it on the Night Lords episode. Now we're focusing on the Guard.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
Because
Louis, play the video. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, press play,
the
Lumi.
Space
guards
Marines,
need
this
their
is
time
the
to shine.
normal peoples.
This argument that would in fact turn many of these citizens against their own. They were promised to be inducted into a new penal legion, but with a very different rule set. Generally speaking, penal legions operate in kind of the same way that Imperial Guard units does when it comes to rules and regulations, except penal legions, of course, are way, way stricter. Looting and or stealing something might get you flogged in some regiments, or a pat on the back in some others, but generally speaking, in a penal guard regiment, doing such a thing is going to get you shot, which is why it's generally not done. However, the Savlar Chem dogs were promised that if they were to beat down the rebellion, and then agree to be exported as penal legion troops, they would get to steal everything they wanted. Now, granted, of course, the license to steal would not extend to other Imperial Guard regiments or citizens, although they do a lot of that as well, but they would be allowed to take anything from anybody that they killed, provided, of course, that they'd been told to kill them by their local commissar. And if you've been living your entire life in a toxic hellhole and you've never even so much as heard of the sun, that might sound like a pretty damn good fucking deal. And indeed, the people of Salvar believe that as well, and so large quantities of these newly formed penal regions were turned swiftly around and used to beat down their friends who didn't take the outstretched hand of the Emperor. And now the Savlar Chem dogs fight for the Emperor's redemption, and loot for the Imperium of Man. And in fact, the Savlar Chem dogs have become one of those kind of elite-ish regiments that I mentioned earlier. They have specialized themselves in tunnel fighting, perhaps unsurprising considering where they come from, being, made up entirely of toxic fucking tunnels, so not too odd that they have a certain affinity for it. And additionally, tunnel fighting is, generally speaking, very, very, very dangerous. As such, you don't really want to be throwing Imperial Guardsmen at it. After all's said and done, Imperial Guardsmen are pretty expensive, considering all of the fancy gear you have to give them, vox speeds, las guns, vox casters, etc. Not to mention the fact that you do actually have to train them for a fairly considerable amount of time, actually. So generally speaking, if you are given the choice between wasting a chem dog or an Imperial Guardsman, the chem dog's going to get dead every single time. But that doesn't really matter to the chem dog. After all, his survival chances in a Penal Legion are still a hell of a lot better than they were back on Savilar. And that's really saying something, considering a Chemdog's chances of surviving a single engagement, much less so an entire campaign, would make a snowball in hell fall to its knees and thank the gods for their mercy. Oh, and of course, the more observant amongst you might have noticed their specific name, the Savilar Chemdogs. That's because before they go into battle, they are pumped full of all sorts of funny chemicals that makes them hyper-aggressive. This is a fairly common practice within the Penal Legions because humans are usually somewhat reticent to run screaming towards heavy machine guns. However, if you dope the living shit out of them first, you will find that they are far more easily persuaded to do so. Granted, you need the correct type of dope, but luckily the Imperium is mass-producing the perfect variant, known as Frenzon, which the not entirely subtle name should give you a decent indication of what it does. But let's get back to some of the more general information about the Penal Legion for a bit, shall we? So, obviously, as I mentioned previously, Penal Legions are very rarely employed as units in their own right, although, again, there are several examples of that not being true because, again, Penal Legions don't really follow any truly standardized rule sets, but basically, a Penal Legion will follow a few common rules at all times. 1. Every single member of the Penal Legion will be equipped with a magnetically locked collar. This collar includes a small explosive device, which is directed towards the Penal Legionary's spine. I'm thinking you can probably be guessing what this device is meant to do, and the detonator for said device is of course in the hands of the local commissar. Secondly, Penal Legions are almost always commanded by commissars. Now again, this is one of those rules that I say is an pretty much always rule, but there is one or two exceptions. See why I fucking hate Penal Legions? Generally speaking, I can line out a specific set of doctrines or rules that these units will follow, but with the Penal Legions, the only real thing they have in common is that they all carry a small explosive device attached to the back of their neck, and that's pretty much fucking it. Their weapons vary hugely. Many of them will be equipped with surplus lasguns, often of older designs or stuff that has been outright rejected. In fact, there was a funny little tidbit I read in a book ages ago, so old in fact that it might very well go under the definition of proper old law, so I don't even know if it's canon anymore, but it does sound like it would kind of make sense in a twisted, ridiculous way. Essentially, the tech priests of Mars would of course test every single weapon that they created. The weapons that failed said test, for one reason or another, would then be sent to the Penal Legions. Now, on one hand, that sounds like it would make sense just because it's such an utter and complete cunt move that I can imagine some fucker up the administratum ladder going like, ha 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 ha, this'll teach the little fucks. But on the other hand, it seems like a remarkably unmechanicus waste of resources, doesn't it? But while the standard issue Imperial lasgun is the preferred weapon because it's way easier to supply, the Imperium produces a bajillion, million, trillion, zillions of the damn things, and they don't have to worry supplying them with ammunition, while normally Imperial Guard regiments will be resupplied with ammunition packs once the old ones die out and the battery finally goes flat. Good fucking luck trying that in a Penal Legion. But on the other hand, where are
Okay, so since they don't really adequately resupply any of them, I'm guessing they just kind of pick up the guns and whatever else from their dead comrades if they still
Essentially,
gotta
Yeah,
keep those.
enemies, dead comrades, whatever they can get.
I see. Man.
Whatever you can Zegbor and steal.
So that this is like the lowest rank of all types of guards, right? It's just Penal Legions
This
are
is the
cannon
lowest
fodder.
rank of human.
No, there are servitors.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
right. Yeah, I
Wait,
forgot
no,
about the
servitors are more
servitors.
valuable because there's tech in there.
The servitors are less. Servitors, these guys technically have rights because they're human. Servitors don't have rights because they're not human.
Well, yeah, but servitors are more expensive. Therefore.
I mean, they grow the fuckers.
I mean,
into
depends who
food.
you ask. Mechanicus would probably put servitors above Penal Legions.
No, they'd probably go, why don't we turn the Penal Legion into servitors?
Mm.
But yeah, no, they're on the very bottom of the rung. They're basically just there to die and hope Big E forgives them in the afterlife. If that.
He won't.
the usual Imperial Guardsman is a driven thief when it comes to acquiring extra weapons, ammunitions, and armor, there's no thief quite like a Penal Legion thief. Especially as there's a fair few commissars that will simply overlook even the most blatant cases of theft, because they want these little criminal bastards to complete their missions. And if nobody has seen them steal it, and nobody's coming to the Commissar's tent to bitch about it, well, hear no theft, see no theft, and only occasionally commit theft. However, back to the point of the lasguns.
Only
While the lasguns is
occasionally.
the preferred
Okay.
weapon, because it means they don't have to supply them with anything else for
Archers
pretty much
remaining
ever, they
confirmed.
only need to occasionally send a few Adeptus Mechanicus adepts to look over the equipment, because, generally speaking, the attrition rate within a
Okay, so they send out Mechanicus adepts to basically train them to do their Mechanicus jobs. It's like, okay, so let's see if you guys survive your trial period by going and helping the Penal Legion every once in a while.
Kinda, yeah.
Depends if you pissed off your Magos enough.
I see.
Yeah. It's like getting sent to the radio station in Alaska in the middle of winter to go fix it.
You know what? Fair.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair.
Penal Legion is going to be more than enough to ensure that there will be plenty of additional lasguns to go around. But if that is not possible, they might be equipped with whatever is easiest to acquire. Maybe there is a large amount of spare autoguns just laying around after an Underhive raid, for example. That'll work. Or hell, maybe they can't get a hold of any proper weapons, so they'll just give them sharpened pikes or something. And that is, of course, only if the Imperium is feeling generous enough to actually sharpen the metal rods before handing it to them. Hell, that's assuming they'll feel generous enough to give them metal rods, instead of just sending them off into the forest with the instructions to make some. And as for armor... you didn't actually think they'd give them armor, did you? Come on now. A Penal Legionary's only duty is to get his ass turned into grass, and therefore be given the Emperor's salvation. If your only goal is to die gloriously in battle, why would you want armor? That defeats the entire point. And besides, there's nobody stopping you from simply just stealing some armor if you absolutely want it. Granted, of course, if you actually get caught, you're going to be dead, but you're dead anyway, aren't you? So, why not? Besides this, shall we say, inconsistent level of standardization, there's not a whole lot of common rules. However, there are, of course, some uses of Penal Legions that are more common than others. For example, sending them across minefields without minesweepers. This is normally seen as a bit of a waste of manpower, however, as, well, they might just be Penal Legionaries, but minefields can usually be cleared easier with artillery shells. Though, again, artillery shells can occasionally be considered to be quite expensive, and Penal Legionaries, well, they're free. But normally speaking, they wouldn't be wasted on something quite so cuntish. They would be far more used simply just walking in front of actual troops, absorbing most of the enemy's firepower while letting the actual guardsmen take the objectives. This is actually a fairly common way of using them, especially in theatres of war that have grown very stagnant. They have, for example, been used on several occasions by the Death Corps of Krieg, to simply just walk in front of the actual soldiers with orders to not lie down, and there's commissars behind them to make sure that they're not disobeying that order, and therefore screen the following troops. They can also be used as expendable cannon fodder used to buy time. For example, there's occasionals where Imperial Guard regiments will have to retreat, but the enemy, being the inconsiderate cunts that they are, will often want to pursue said Imperial Guard regiments. How do you fix this? Well, you'll throw a couple regiments of Penal Legionaries at them. There's not going to be a whole lot of surviving Legionaries left, but the actual regiment is going to be getting out scot-free. There's also several non-combat uses for Penal Legions. Seeing as they do not, of course, have the right to refuse any order, they can be set to do virtually anything. Although it will usually involve back-breaking amounts of hard manual labour. Alternatively, if the Penal Legion is not going to be used in a direct battlefield role, and is not going to be used for good old-fashioned manual labour, they are also quite frequently sent out to deal with things that normal troopers just aren't really equipped to. For example, they might be sent to particularly hostile worlds, death worlds, or airless rocks, taking back asteroids fields, and other very, very uncomfortable and almost certainly lethal tasks. Precisely like in the example of the Savlar Chemdogs being excellent tunnel fighters. Tunnel fighting is not only remarkably deadly, but also unusually uncomfortable. And sending the Penal Legions to such hellholes...
Okay, so the Penal Legions are just the definition of, well, everyone else is literally too valuable and important to send out. And also, I'll be right back.
They are as expendable as ammunition.
Yep.
And in all
Like
the
I
cases,
said,
ammunition is more precious.
Honestly,
you get them to do the jobs that you're not willing to make other soldiers do.
Mr. Enemy High, I'd like to purchase 1 magazine of ammunition in exchange for this dipshit's body.
I mean,
Yep.
if you're on a Chaos World, that'll probably work.
Sons of Sec better than Imperial Guard.
You are entitled to that incorrect opinion, Mr. Zyklon.
Yeah.
That's not
Alright, I
saying
returned.
Obviously,
That's
the
some
blood
heresy.
pack is better.
I would say Blood Pack better than Sons of Sec, but again, you
just
can
said
have
that.
your incorrect opinion.
Oh, I see. You guys are being autistic while I stepped away. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
if
I
you
just
want
want to
to
read
someone-
out a $2 super chat by I saw
call them
Xylon
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger. Sent his sec over the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, he's just.
That's
he's been
basically
saying-
chaos knockoff of the guard versus the guard.
I see.
But they're
And then
different
you've
enough
got the
that
blood pack. Oh, wait, hold on. I need to find some images of the blood pack to show Lumi. Just
the
Okay.
Blood
off to
Pack.
the side.
Alright, you'd like those?
She would.
Yes,
They guard
penal
their hands
legions
on purpose.
are when you don't even want to spend ammunition, just send them in.
Yeah.
Continue.
No,
This
Greg
also has
Johnson,
another
we haven't
benefit.
talked about Krieg.
Nope, not yet.
And Corvus, conscripts and penal legions are not the same thing. Conscripts are just conscripted guardsmen. Penal legion are prisoners. They are not the same tier. Conscripts are still technically going to be guardsmen. The penal legion will never be guardsmen.
Namely the fact that they will be out of sight and out of mind of the proper Imperial Guardsmen. Now, obviously, serving alongside a penal legion can in and of itself be somewhat disturbing. One, because these humans are essentially cattle that will be expected to throw themselves over razor wire so as to provide bridges for the proper soldiers, and secondly, because they steal like gypsies. They will steal everything and
Said it, not
anything
me.
that isn't bolted down, and you can bet your pretty little ass that they will be bringing a cutting torch so that they can steal what is bolted down and the bolts used to secure it to the floor as well. And that is all assuming that these are actually humans. You see, as with any truly progressive universe, 40k has made it illegal to be different from the vast majority of humanity, and so being a mutant is obviously punishable by death and or service in a penal legion. And it's pretty much always going to be and death. There is no way out of a penal legion, or, well, actually, there is one way. If a penal legionary manages to pull off something truly ridiculous, so absolutely insane show of valor, he might be rewarded with the elevation into a normal guard regiment. Granted, that still doesn't elevate his odds of survival by a huge margin, but Imperial Guard regiments are allowed to leave the Imperial Guard if they, as well, do something truly amazing. You have better odds winning the lottery with the numbers provided to you by a psychic cat than you do getting out of the penal legions alive. God Emperor knows I'd put my faith in the cat. But if you're really, really desperate, then there is one way out. And that is to join the 13th Penal Legion, also known as the Last Chances. This is a very, very special Penal Legion, commanded by Colonel Schaefer, one of the hardest motherfuckers in the entire goddamn Imperium to not wear carapace armor. The 13th Penal Legion is a formation of men that can vary in size from upwards of several thousands to a few dozens, and are sent in to do things that are essentially just fucking impossible, like, for example, invading a demon world and killing a demon prince. And this particular Penal Legion is quite unique, and it operates in a very interesting way. It could perhaps be said to be divided into two different sections, the 13th Penal Legion and the Last Chances. The 13th Penal Legion as a whole will be deployed in large-scale actions, often containing several thousand members, and will be sent to do things like, for example, the invasion of a demon world, or throwing themselves at a hive city, or desperate rearguard actions against the Tyranids or something like that, stuff that's essentially impossible. And the handful of survivors, often numbering in the mere dozens, if that much, will then be inducted into the Last Chances, and be led by Colonel Schaefer himself on even more suicidal fucking missions, but this time under the direct supervision of the Inquisition. Essentially, the 13th Penal Legion, as a large-scale organization, exists to, separate the wheat from the chaff, so to say, to kill off all but the craziest, hardest, motherfucking murderous cocksuckers in the entire galaxy. We're talking the Simon Phoenixes of 40k here, basically. And then send these remaining crazies on suicide missions that only they could have even the slightest hope of succeeding, and if they fail, well, penal legionaries, they are, to say the absolute least, expendable. And the last chance...
Okay, so It's like the Penal legions are very like cut and dry, very simple to talk about, but also they're basically less than people, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
They are very, very loose to define, but also very simple to understand.
Okay.
You can think of them as a force field that sometimes fires back at the enemy.
It's a force field that screams. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
More or less.
Or unless
Like I
they're so
said,
high
they're-
on cocaine they just don't feel pain anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they'll
Okay.
just drop over dead when something like blows out their heart.
Oh no,
By
I
the
drank
way,
water,
Lumi.
dies. Literally me.
Yes.
By the way, Lumi, behold, the Blood Pact.
Ooh, let me see.
I probably can't show it on stream, but it's in Warhammer Wednesdays.
Oh yeah,
I fucking
You
love
can
these
probably
guys.
get away with everything
It
but
depends on the enemy.
the second to last one.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh no, I'm becoming a blood pact enjoyer.
No.
Look at
Turn away
them!
I'm
from
just
the heresy.
corn.
That's not a bad thing, Lumi. They're
Okay, that
Okay, is
one's
it-
more fan art.
Is it?
It's all fan art,
'Cause I'm pretty sure the middle one is like Chaos or Cultist Chan or something.
yeah, it's Cultist Chan.
No,
Yep.
but that's cheating. You're showing Lumi of all people Mossa art.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh my god,
Yeah, so
oh, this is so
these
cool.
are Corn's boys.
Yep. Disciplined Corn Guardsmen. Which
Yeah,
is
we
even
haven't
worse.
gotten into Chaos yet proper.
Very disciplined, if I might say.
Yeah, you can just come in
Nothing
here.
Hello.
Disciplined
I was-
in comparison to everything else.
Oh yes. I mean, hey, the butt of the gun isn't destroyed yet, and it's not covered in brain matter and skull pieces yet.
Okay,
oh, this is so
why are you...
fucking cool.
Oh, I think Eclipse is irritated that Ghost just kind of came in.
I mean, I could drag him in here if that's
no,
okay with.
No, I was purposely restricting to like 4 people because otherwise people start talking over each other.
Okay, no problem. I can just. I was actually trying to look at it just by stream, but I'll look at it via YouTube. Is it via YouTube? Yes, it is.
All the photos
Yes,
are
I am on
Warhammer
YouTube,
Wednesday,
Kick, and
so-
Twitch.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Man, these guys are cool. Oh,
Yeah.
They are. I love them.
Yeah, they're very good.
alright.
I
Let
was
us
supposed to
finish
look up
off this
more if you want.
video.
Advances actually have a surprisingly high success rate, mostly because they are led by the Colonel Schaefer, one of the biggest badasses to have ever walked the galaxy, as mentioned, without wearing power armor. In fact, he's such a massive badass that he was originally designed on Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in the movie Predator, which is cool enough in and of itself. And Colonel Schaefer promises redemption to every man and woman within the 13th Penal Legion, and he never fails to make good on that promise, even if he has to deliver the Emperor's mercy himself. But, supposedly, somebody did actually live. Somebody did actually make it through some of these ridiculous missions and receive a pardon. God Emperor alone knows who, or if that's even true to begin with, but what's the old saying? Some hope is better than no hope. Even if that hope is so slim that it makes the aforementioned snowball in hell look like Bear Grylls in New York Central Park. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.
Huh. Well, the Penal Legions are neat. Too bad
Yeah.
they're just like walking meat shields. But that's okay.
Hey, they've got a job. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, this
And they
one's
don't get a
more
say in it.
just the Guard in general.
I think it's even older than the other one.
This one's about 10 years old. It'll be 10 in October.
You're gonna hear true baby Arch.
Alright.
His
46
Terminator armor
minutes.
video is also very old. Oh god, he's got the Warhammer logo in it too. Oh god, this is old.
And this
the
was
good
when he
old
was
days.
Arch Warhammer.
Well, even before he had a logo where the Warhammer was part of the Arch theme. This is just him with it slapped on there in Photoshop.
That's the old Warhammer Fantasy logo as well.
It is.
That's when he was doing like.
He started doing fantasy lore first.
Yeah.
Well, because Total War Warhammer came out.
Yeah. Ancient, dude, ancient.
Greetings, salutations, friends, and welcome back to some more Warhammer 40k lore. Today,
listen to him!
Oh, the shittiest fuck Mike and little babby voice. Oh, God.
Listen to him!
Also, be prepared to hear the same, like, short musical number throughout the entire video.
Also, I would like to point something out.
Yeah.
At this point, his family still owned the robotics company, so why would he not be able to afford a better mic?
Because
I think he was just doing.
He's always been rich. What the fuck?
I mean, it's like.
Oh, okay,
Was
sorry.
this when he was first starting out, or was he doing this like still doing this just for fun and not understanding anything?
Oh, he was
probably
doing
that
this just for fun, for sure. Like, this is before YouTube was like easily accessible for like a job type shit.
Oh, I was like, hold on, let's see.
Kind of a passion project, pretty much. In fact, he still does a passion project.
Oldest. Man.
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years ago is when he was first starting
video
out.
was on the vampires.
Yep.
Good choice.
Vampires, and then his love of Skaven. Skaven.
Yes, he already loved it.
Skaven.
And then the orcs.
Oh, man.
He recently did another Skaven video, Lumi.
Archly. These old thumbnails.
This big ass Arch logo just in the middle of the fucking screen.
Gotta brand your shit.
No.
Q&A
Before the dark
answers.
times.
Oh,
Before the days of custom thumbnail.
You need to start clipping these for sound bites. You can bully him, Lumi. You're like, look, it's Arch in dial-up form.
Arch in dial-up. Oh my god.
If you do that, you gotta get the old dial-up tone behind him.
But these are also the days where he's just kind of developing his narrator voice as well.
Yeah. Because remember, Arch is A, European, B, dyslexic, and C, has a speech impediment.
Yep.
On top of already speaking tin can language and learning English, like, he's got a lot going against him.
Man learned English by watching TV. It's where he picked up his accent from as well.
Yeah.
That's why everyone thinks it's fake.
Yep. No, that's just his accent.
Yeah, that's why everyone thinks he's British.
Good lord.
Today we will be taking a look at the Imperial Guard, also known as the Astra Militarum. The Imperial Guard, or Astra Militarum, whichever you prefer, is the largest organized fighting force in the galaxy, consisting of uncounted billions of men and armored vehicles. The Imperial Guard is humanity's reactionary force, used to crush invading Xenos and Chaos forces alike under the weight of the Imperium's sledgehammer forces. But being the massive sledgehammer that they are, as not their Guard's only role. In fact, the Imperial Guard fills a variety of roles within the Imperium. They are a policing force, a garrison force, a rapid reaction force, static besiegers, invaders, blockading forces. The Imperial Guard can and will fill any role that is needed, with millions of more or less specialized regiments. Some may be experts in attrition warfare, others in rapid air-based maneuvers, others specialize in particular climates, like deserts or frozen planets, and others again specialize in the extermination of specific threats, alien or otherwise. For example, the Valhallans of the frozen ice world Valhalla take a particular dislike to orcs and have gotten pretty goddamn good at killing them. I will, of course, be covering these specialized regiments in their own videos, but for now, we will stick to the standard Imperial Guard regiment, if such a thing could even be said to exist, as practically all regiments are equipped, trained, and organized in more or less unique ways. For example, a regiment may have been posted to a feudal tech-level world for generations, replenishing their numbers from the local population. There is an example of just such a regiment mentioned in one of the many books set in the 40k universe, a regiment that after generations of garrison duty fighting only minor skirmishes against the anti-imperial horse tribes of the planet, had developed a style of fighting more akin to that of 18th century warfare than the 41st century. They would form up in a square formation and use a volley fire to repel the savage tribesmen. Even their equipment slowly but surely degraded as resupply was considered an ever lower and lower priority, leading the regiment to adopt simpler weapons in the form of Laslock.
Mizu Raid.
Mizu Raid.
Oh, Mizu, hello!
You've been invaded.
Oh,
How
God,
is
the Twinks
Mizu
are
today?
here.
How is stream?
Him and the lolly were looking at shit. I just think this is funny. Arch just said a little bit ago, I'm going to shortly go into these factions in their own videos. He finally did the Valhalla and Winter Soldiers 2 years ago, so he almost did them like over 8 years apart. Which is
Hey,
very
man's got a project he's working on, I suppose.
Yeah, we're not completing the different guard regiments anytime soon.
Oh no.
I'm through Arch anyway.
Yeah.
Very on brand. I can't tell you how many times he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this in like a month, and then like 3 years later.
Yeah, like how he said he was gonna finish lore theorizing like how to turn all the trader marks loyalists and all
I know,
the
stop
loyals
after
into traitors.
Oh, whilst we're paused, I do want to touch on something that is mentioned. Like, the amount of variety when it comes to Imperial Guard, like, every single planet within the Imperium is obligated with supplying at least one Imperial Guard regiment. So there are 1 million worlds or more in the Imperium, so there are 1 million different kinds of Imperial Guard regiments. So, like, you see Acadian Guard regiment, well, they're like the classic type of Imperial Guard regiments, you know, Cadia, the Death Corps, the Mordian Iron Guard, the Valhalla Soldiers. They're all from planets that have a, like, guardsmen are their main export, pretty much. So they are made famous because of the amount of those guardsman regiments that they produce. But the actual, like, classic Imperial Guard regiments, they make up, like, less than 1% of all of the Guard regiments you'll find out there, pretty much.
Yeah, it's also a way for basically, hey, you want to homebrew your own guard regimented planet? Go ahead.
Like, despite the fact that Cadian Guardsmen appear in literally everything, it's actually probably pretty rare to see one.
So the Cadian thing is, it's not just the guard; it's the Cadian equipment is.
Yeah,
everywhere.
because
That's why everyone
Cadian
looks like
equipment is widely exported, and pretty much all Imperial Guard regiments use it as a template.
Yeah.
So a lot of Imperial Guard regiments look like Cadians, but in fact are not Cadians.
And some more well-off planets, even PDF, get the similar quote-unquote standard applied to them.
Yeah.
Cadian
And
Guardsmen are like the one you see in the background with the green armor, the green helmets.
Oh yeah,
To
on
keep
that,
an
and on the
idea, whenever Arch mentions like PDF versus the guard, the best way to think about it is PDF is like your National Guard, your Air Guard analogs, where the guard is like the military proper.
the way it got explained in the Cyphers Kane books was you have the PDF, who are just the army of the world, and then the Imperial Guard, the Astra Militarum, come in and they recruit the best of the PDF and they become Imperial Guard. So you basically take the cream of the crop of the PDF and they're the ones that become your Guard regiment and get sent off world. That's more or less how it works.
Basically, Starship Troopers armor is in Cadia.
Yeah, essentially. The one from the original movie. Just grey instead of green.
Alright, let us keep going.
Rifles, a single-shot laser weapon, and in a style of warfare where camouflage was more or less completely superfluous, they started using uniforms more in line with the 18th century as well, simply because after several generations of hereditary command, the regiment became more of a status symbol rather than an actual fighting force. They became almost the planet's nobility, and it became a bit of a status symbol for someone to marry into the great and mighty Imperial Guard. On the completely opposite side of the spectrum, we have the Elysian Drop Troopers, a high-tech regiment of entirely airborne troops, using grab chutes and a variety of gunships to rapidly transport entire regiments of infantry and light armor with speed undreamt of by conventional forces. Virtually every single piece of kit, be it weapons, heavy, light, uniforms, helmets, all of it, is tailor-made for this very purpose, and are usually lighter and shorter than the standard weapons of other Imperial Guard regiments, and they even employ a fair few hyper-specialized weapons, like a light automatic mortar that can be set down by the highly mobile troops and then used via remote control to cover the troops' advances, making it completely unnecessary for the troops to set up and use a mortar emplacement like normal mortal infantry. And of course, a wide variety of carbine variations of the las rifle. I will of course be covering the illusions in a video all of their own, but I will now try to get back to my point with the standard Imperial Guard regiment. On an organization level, most Guard regiments are at least somewhat similar. A regiment is recruited from a single world, and is usually all-male or all-female regiments, though in some special cases, mixed regiments can be raised, and normally, unisex regiments may be joined together after particularly brutal engagements, when the regiments in question are unable to receive adequate reinforcements from their own world.
Oh, that's the point about modern 40.
Scratch regiment, so to say. Now, naturally, recruiting from a world comes with a few problems, as you are.
Yeah.
That's a real problem with modern 40k, because every single time you see Imperial Guard in any sort of media, it's always just a mixed regiment with men and women running around everywhere. There is a reason why you do not put men and women in the same place. It's because they tend to fuck.
Like, it's not even like, and I've had this debate with people, it's not even like, women aren't strong enough type thing. It's not even that. Like, it doesn't matter how strong you are when an orc is chasing you down, whether you're a big 6'6" man. Like, that doesn't make a difference.
The last gun is the force multiplier. You still have the same amount of killing power.
Yeah, the problem is fucking. That's the actual problem.
Yes, like mixed regiments.
And then, of course, relationship drama.
Yeah. Like, you get that a lot in the Cypher's Kane books. Like, you get a bunch of hints every now and then that Kane is really good at taking care of children, because as the regimental commissar, it's his duty to look after the welfare of any children that get born.
Yeah.
So it's implied that he's actually a really good caretaker of children.
I mean, I remember, in case you ever watched the Sabbat World Crusade video thing that Arch did, it's the same sort of thing. There's a point where, like, the Tanith First and Only get an influx of women, and it causes immediate problems.
Yep.
Like, there's a round of executions for, like, a wave of rapes. There's, like, relationship. Like, it's bad. It gets bad.
Yeah, there's a reason that they've been segregated both in real life up until now and in future.
Yeah, and like, I've had this argument with people. They sit there and go, "Oh, but it's like that." The argument of women being weaker is reasonable for our armies because we're fighting humans. It doesn't matter
if a woman
or a chaos.
If a woman can meet standards, then sure, throw her in.
Yeah,
but you put her in with a bunch of other women that meet standards.
Yes.
You do not put her with men. That's not a good idea.
And it's not because they're weaker, it's because it doesn't matter if the orc shoots you because you have a vagina or not. The orc is going to kill you.
And also, that soldier can become incapacitated for 9 months randomly.
Like, the Imperium unironically doesn't have a manpower short. I think many Hive worlds, I can't remember where I heard it, they have, like, minimum, like, family requirements. Like, in sci-fi, it's usually, you can only have 4 children. Whereas in the Imperium, it's like, you have to have a minimum of 3 before, like, you can sign up for the Guard or shit like that.
Yeah.
And on some Hive worlds, it's basically, we think there's about 200 billion people on the planet. Honestly, we lost count so many times, we've just given up. There's probably more.
Yeah, there's probably more. Are they mostly mutants? Yeah, but they're probably...
They're within acceptable parameters of mutation. You just put a hat on it, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Also, Lumi, I'm gonna hop out so Eclipse can hop in, because I know, like, the Guard is one of his favorites.
Okay. Yeah, I feel dirty because I jumped the queue. I jumped the queue ahead
I'll
of him.
also be jumping out. It was a pleasure vibing with you guys, but gotta get up for work tomorrow.
Yes,
Maybe next stream I
also.
can stay longer. Have a good night.
You too.
And while
Have a good
we're
one.
good night. Whilst we're here and we're talking about, like, let me go into detail of what Arch was specifically mentioning there, where some regiments will be a male regiment and a female regiment can get mashed together. He's specifically mentioning the Valhallan 597, which is the regiment from the Caiaphas Cain
That
book.
was a rare moment. That was a rare moment in that book, and it doesn't happen often. It was literally made from two regiments that were so dead. Like, okay, slap them together. Don't care. They can fight
Like
now.
they're basically not regiments left. We might as well just like smash them together.
And that wasn't even the
Also-
big problem. The fucking wasn't even the problem. The problem was they were trying to kill each other. They hated each other's guts.
Also,
Yep.
I
Part
see
of the
someone
reason was
slandering C-Bun
they didn't
chat.
like the numbers.
Yeah. Like
Well,
literally,
also,
like,
it's-
there was a brawl in the canteen where like three soldiers died. Like a couple servicemen on the ship died. Oh, it was a mess.
And if I remember correctly, there's actually 5 guardsmen that get brought up on charges for murder, and they become a penal
Penal
squad.
soldiers. Yes, they
Yeah.
become penal. On the plus side,
I
they got
wanted
hell
to bring that
guns.
up during the
They got
penal
hell guns
legion.
at least. I'm like, hey, shiny toys.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and good armor.
Hmm.
And that's also
But
how
also,
Jurgen got his melt-a-gun.
That's
Yep.
Jurgen, and he wasn't
Jurgen.
penal. He's just a good boy.
Oh yeah.
And I also want to mention the funny thing about the Valhallan 597. The paperwork for them never actually stated that they've become one regiment. Officially, they are still 2 regiments, so they get 2 batches of resupply from new recruits.
Not quite. It just took the Administratum so long that Cain was long dead by the time they made the change.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I remember that in one of Amberly's retexts. Like, it
So-
just took forever.
So not only did they maintain pretty much full fighting strength, they always maintained an exact 50-50 ratio of men to women.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Yep.
Oh, perfect. Alright, let us continue.
Were you there the whole
Limiting
time,
yourselves
Lumi?
to a galactic.
Noah?
Were you there the whole time?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she be there the whole time?
It's just, you were very, very quiet, Lumi. That's why I asked.
When you guys go on an autistic talk, I just listen and I observe.
How much of the information did you absorb, Lumi? I'm about to quiz you now.
I didn't understand a lot of it.
There's a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to the guard.
Yes.
It's like when
What
it comes
part
to the guard,
specifically?
it seems like something that like to understand it properly, I'm gonna have to sit and read about it because I process things better when I read about it in quiet, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is interesting, and then
Caiaphas Cain, then.
Yeah.
Caiaphas
Caiaphas
Cain
Cain.
is your best starter.
oh yeah, I have Cypress Cane.
Oh, they're so
Read them.
good. I love those books so much.
So damn good.
I think Dan Abnett's Sabbath Worlds series does a much better job at the
Gaunt's Ghosts.
Yeah.
Gaunt's
I
Ghost.
still
Sorry.
need to read that. I still need to read that series. I really want to, but
Also good.
I'm right. I've basically just finished reading Sharp, and now I'm moving on to Master and Commander,
Nice.
which is
That's
another
not-
fucking long series.
The only thing I'd say is
Oh my
you
God.
have to be ready to slog through Dan Abnett's writing style, and it can be painful if you don't like it.
I don't see what's so painful about it. I breezed through those books.
Audiobooks make things easier, by the way. Just
Yes,
get
that is
Audible.
true.
Web, read like a proper human.
Dude, I work all day. I don't have time to read.
Fucking skill issue.
How dare
I
you not
work
be
in an
able to
environment where I'm
read
permitted
and
to
drive
listen
at
to
the same
things.
time?
I know. How can he just not? Oh shit! I forgot about the Macabre and Janissaries. I forgot about that group. Son of a bitch.
Ah, yes.
To be fair, they are
The
pretty
religious
forgettable.
fanatics.
No, they're not actually.
aren't
Their
sisters
aesthetics are
of
incredibly
battle.
memorable.
I forget they exist.
That sounds like a you problem. Enemy one right now.
Yeah. By the way, Lumi, we are not going to be done with the Guard with just this one stream. You're going to have to do like 10 streams of Imperial Guard.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
know.
literally everything
I
40k related. It's never
Yes.
one.
It's like we'll eventually loop back to the guard. I still need to learn more than just, oh yeah, these are the chaos gods. Okay, cool, there you go.
Well, you learned
here's
all
one.
the chaos
just
gods.
one more quick pop quiz then. Who is the Primarch of the Blood Angels? You should know, they're your favorite.
Primarch of the Blood Angels.
Come on. I believe in
The
you.
Blood Angels are my favorite chapter, Lumi. Do not fuck this up. I play Blood Angels.
Alright, I'm back. I'm sorry.
I just said that they're cool. I don't know everything about them yet.
Sanguinius, Lumi, the best
Come on.
Primarch to ever exist.
Literally the best boy.
Lumi's
Oh
a fake
yeah,
fan.
I was thinking. Well, granted, Sanguinius is like the only name that I remember from all the Primarchs.
He's the only
probably
name you
like
need
me,
to remember,
Lumi, you're
Lumi. He's
probably
the only
thinking
name
Dark
you
Angels.
need.
I see.
Lumi's a tourist, everybody.
Hey, she's
For
learning.
now. Well,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
how we all
learning.
start out.
If
We go
I was a
from the
pure
fair, Lumi.
tourist, I wouldn't be doing these streams like every week.
No. You see, everyone starts
Unapplicable.
off as a tourist, but then we
Honestly,
elevate you if you pass.
Lumi, I think you need to do these streams bi-weekly, or else it's going to take you 10 years to get through all 40k lore.
Doesn't
she
matter.
Like,
can barely wake up.
surface level 40k lore, I mean.
See, the problem is Lumi tries to do them weekly, I think, and then she kind of forgets.
No,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
she's
forget.
just
Just
forgetting.
just stuff either comes up and everything, or I'm just too sleepy.
But
And then
You
you know,
Mechanicus-
Lumi, you can
yeah,
fix
but
that
in all
sleep thing with
seriousness,
one
Lumi,
easy trick.
you probably need to do 2 Warhammer streams a week if you want to actually get any learning done at any reasonable rate.
That's not gonna
Well,
happen.
it's like I'm gonna have to like do this, but then also read. I do have access to every book that people would want me to read.
You can also just bully Arch into telling you things sometimes.
Yes.
Well, in
Yeah,
that
I
case,
can
you
do
could just
that,
do.
but I also have the Pontius for that too.
You
It's
can have
true.
Yeah,
Warhammer
but it's funny to
Wednesdays.
bully
Just a
Arch because
very
he falls apart under the pressure.
Warhammer Wednesdays can just be a very brief overview, and then just do reading in your own time, pretty much.
Yeah,
I was
that's what I
making fun of you
usually do.
earlier, Lumi.
If I'm not like going through Dune Awakening, I'm still so mad that my internet went down. I was in the middle of gathering stuff for my ornithopter. I'm still not done gathering stuff for my ornithopter. I am so
Oh, no.
upset. It's because I ran out of water, and then I had to go murder some people, and then I had to drag back a body to my house so then I can process the water.
Are you playing a
I'm
game
just
or are you
sitting here
describing a
writing
real life
notes in the
day?
background
Oh,
about new
that
AI
almost sounds like a
tune
real life.
ideas.
No.
Yeah, Lumi
I
is
wouldn't
actually
confess to
on
my
the southern
crimes
border right
live
now.
on stream. I would stream my crimes. Jeez.
No, you would just say in Minecraft.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. I was bullying you earlier, Lumi. I was like, how come Powder can keep her Warhammer Wednesday streams consistent, but Lumi can't? It's because someone doesn't like to do anything but drink Dr. Pepper all night.
By the way, Libby, you do need to do some collabs with Powder every now and then. With do some tandem Warhammer Wednesdays.
Well,
Powder
that
is
was
a
gonna-
busy girly, and I don't want to spam her messages and be like, "Hey, Powder, you want to hang out, uwu?"
Sweetie, you
Just
want to hang
do
out?
it.
Want to
Okay,
chill?
do you want me to go ask then? I guess.
Go, hello,
No.
friend. Would you like to do a thing?
Yes, but what if I annoy them? It's like I only talked to Powder a couple times. I do adore her, but I don't want to bother her. And then it's like, oh, it's this Lumi. Oh, why is she
Yeah, but
talking to me?
Lumi,
She's weird.
It's that kind of attitude that gets zero shit done.
That's the
But
But I
attitude
don't
that gets
like
zero-
bothering people.
That's the kind of
Okay,
attitude
I
that
want-
gets zero
Okay,
bitches.
hold on. I wanted to bring this up at the end of the stream, but I'm going to bring it up now. I told you like 2 fucking... sorry, I choked on my words there. I told you like
British
2
person.
fucking weeks ago to recruit Ririgaki, and I told you, hey, just go into her Discord server and like ping one of her mods and go, hey, can you explain why I'm here so I can like get into her DMs and have a talk to her? But you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be a bother. Like, woman,
That's
you get
bothering
nothing done
people.
like
That's
that.
cringe. It's like
Just
if,
go,
if
hello,
somebody
I'm
else
a fish.
decided
I
to
would
ju-
like to collaborate with her. Can you please let me into her DMs? Like, could you put in a good word for me so I can speak to her? That's all you
This
need
went
to
this went
do.
from a Warhammer stream to trying to educate Lumi how to do fucking VTubing stream.
Yeah, like I
But
said, I
I would think it's kind of
cringe
cringe and gay if somebody was just like, you know, going through my mods and be like, can you tell Lumi that I really want to talk to her? Puts fingers together.
You have to forgive
Well,
Adam.
no,
He's
you
British.
go, hey, I'm also a VTuber. I'd like to collaborate with her. Could you hook me up with her?
Also, Lumi, you already know Powder somewhat. You got her onto Arch's stream. I never thought that was gonna ever fucking happen in a day in my life. And then all of a sudden she fucking showed up in the thumbnail, and I was like, wait a minute.
Okay, that's different because that's recruiting for somebody else, not me.
Yeah, and I asked you to recruit somebody else.
That's
It's
Lumi
taken
expanding
2
Arch's
weeks, you still
VTuber
haven't
harem.
done it.
Yeah, Lumi's doing his bidding. Oh, Queen is
Tell
dying.
Queen
Why
to
can't you
stop
just do
dying.
my bidding?
Are you dying?
Fine. After stream, I will reach out. Okay, I will get the racist
Thank
rat.
you.
Man.
It took you long
Yes,
enough.
Corvus, Powder was on an
Man.
Archcast.
Just make sure to do direct DMs. Don't be cringe like Adam and go through mods.
She's got-
That's
yeah,
cringe as
just-
fuck.
Well,
message
Riri
Powder and
Gaki
be
has
like,
got
hey.
direct DMs closed. That's why I told her to go through them all.
Oh, damn.
Me.
Yeah, Corvus in the chat. Powder was on one of the Archcasts like a few weeks ago.
It's true.
Yes. It's like when we had Powder on the Archcast, it reminded me, like, she reminded me of me when I first joined the Archcast.
Why?
I was like, is
innocent.
this looking
I
into
don't
the
know what
mirror?
to do yet. Yeah, it is. It is Lumi. It is. You've grown.
Powder's
so
just a
much.
time travel Lumi. I knew it.
You know what? Forget looking at old Arch videos. We need to look at Lumi's first appearance on the Archcast and see how much
No.
has changed.
I just
Oh,
do a
yeah.
cringe react. It's Lumi.
Ah,
for the first time.
no. No. I listened to part of it, I'm like, oh, was that really me? Close.
Cringe. Be gone.
Cringe be gone.
I
Back
would
then,
rather
you were
look
just
at
a
my-
small mermaid. Now you're a big mermaid who still has a wide tail.
Shut up. Okay.
So that reminds me, when did the footfish allegations first
No,
start?
damn it, Adam, we're getting off track now. We're at just with the guard.
Is
I
that-
just want to pinpoint which stream that was.
Cease!
I could probably
Alright,
look
let's
back
continue.
at my messages with Arch and have an exact date and time.
Oh, I know when they started. It was whenever you guys did that collab and the thumbnail thing happened. The thumbnail was the catalyst.
Ah.
Where you went, ooh, feet.
Yeah, why
Okay,
did you do
here
that,
we go.
Luna?
Yes, you know
Okay,
what, Adam,
he started planning this before I would, like, shortly after I was on the Archcast. Because, let's see, July 1st of last year. Maybe even a little earlier, on stream. I don't know, but let's get back to the guard before we tangent off a bit more. Okay, wait.
Tactic terms,
Please,
quite
go
limited
for God.
area. And again, in such a massive
rewind a few
scale
seconds.
area like a galaxy, this means that you have some pretty obvious problems. For example, the fact that the vast majority of Imperial worlds have wildly varying customs, languages, and beliefs. Now, this last one requires a bit of a side note, though. While all Imperial worlds worship the Emperor as a god, many do so in different ways. For example, the natives of one world might think that the god Emperor lives inside their sun, and acts like a protecting spirit. On another world, the Emperor might be considered an avenging angel that came down from the heavens to drive off the bad people that were enslaving them. This is essentially one of those founding myths that go all the way back to Old Night. For example, let's say that a planet was occupied by a race of psychics that had enslaved the populace. Well, the Space Marine legions would descend upon the planet and kill off the psychics, freeing the populace. And then, over the next few thousand years, this would then become a bit of a creation myth, essentially, giving the Emperor the credit for their liberation, so to say. All of this, as you might expect, lead to some rather serious friction between regiments, and it is not at all unusual for there to be violence between particularly different regiments. For the most part, this is simply ignored by High Command as long as it does not impact too much on combat performance, as trying to solve all of the various problems, be they religious, be they class-based, be they tradition-based, etc., 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 between potentially hundreds, if not thousands of regiments, would be a nigh-on impossible task. Ignoring potentially fatal grudges and flaws aside, the Munitorium will insist on two things. Firstly, that the regiment conform to Munitorium standards of a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 20 companies. These companies can, however, vary greatly in size, which means that a regiment can be everything from a few hundred men to tens of thousands strong. Secondly, all regiments will be formed into a single branch of the Imperial Guard, be it artillery, infantry, armor, or specialized troops. Multiple regiments may be formed at the same time to supplement each other, but no single regiment may contain elements of 2 or more of the service branches. Though, as with all rules, there is always some exceptions, like, for example, scratch regiments formed from whatever remnants were available. This last rule is pretty ironclad. Now, you may now be thinking, hold up, Arch, separating the branches like that makes no sense whatsoever. They would be far more flexible and effective in combined arms units. And that is exactly the point. You see, after the whole Horus heresy, the Imperium got just a wee bit paranoid, and so they decided to split the branches, so that if a unit goes rogue, it will be severely hampered and easy.
Okay, this is just a little off topic, but it's just funny how the image is just poorly cropped.
I didn't want to say anything. I was more focused on the way. I was more focused on his little W's and V's because he still does that nowadays. You can
It's old art stuff.
This is just a standard meme template for this. People say I'm xenophobic. That's not true. Xenophobia implies an irrational fear. This is entirely rational.
Oh yeah.
But what Arch is the point that Arch is getting at in the video right now is actually a really important one.
Yes,
Okay.
it's the whole reason why the Imperial Guard actively weakens itself half the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Now-
They don't want a repeat of any type of rebellion.
Not the
There
Horus
is-
heresy type.
There
Just
are a
general
couple
ability.
of exceptions, and I don't know if he touches on it in this video, but the Death Corps of Krieg is one of the few exceptions to this rule. They
And the
are
Steel
one of
Legion.
Yes, and the Steel
Yeah,
Legion.
and the Steel Legion. Those ones are the only ones allowed to field combined arms regiments, and that's because the Death Corps is fanatically loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, I have artwork for this. Since
I
we're bringing up both of those regiments.
And now we're talking about combined arms and tactics and small arms, which is my autism. Combined arms simply means like artillery and infantry, or infantry and vehicles. When you combine aspects of a military together to form a flexible, cohesive force.
God damn it.
They're
There we go,
girlfriends.
since we're talking about both of them.
The emo and the sunny beam of joy. Great.
Yes.
Both gas maskers.
It's like the girl and the golden
And also
retriever.
on that topic, Lumi, I'm going to send you some of Mosa's artwork later. You will thank me.
Okay.
Just like when I sent her a bunch of fucking flesh terror stuff, and she was just like, yeah.
Okay, flesh terrors are so fucking cool, though.
I found
They
a
are.
bunch of gore flesh terror artwork, and I was like, oh, this is going to Lumi.
Wait, like, you're talking about, like, the actual chapter, right?
No, the
Yes.
Necrons. Or no,
Yes.
Oh.
flayed ones. I'm retarded.
Flayed
Like,
ones,
what do you mean flesh tears? Like, that's poor Gabriel Seth. His poor boys.
I know. No,
Yeah,
flayed
Angie.
ones.
is
I was like,
awesome.
yeah, yes. Lumi
It's like
needs this.
it's like just imagine having a poncho made out of human skin. Oh, that'd be so cool.
I don't think I have to imagine. I think you have one.
No, not yet.
She
Not
got
that you
one at
won't
the
admit
border
to on
town,
the
so-
stream.
You know what? Now I just got an art idea for Lumi. I need her in a flesh poncho.
No.
God damn it.
Moose Man, you better run. She'll turn you into a poncho.
She can't fight Moose Man. He is too tall.
He is too tall.
That's-
He's too strong. He is.
He's
He
just
is.
butt.
You know the incidents in school movies where like the bully is holding the short kid out with just one hand,
Yeah.
and the short kid's just swinging his arms.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
See, that's when you
Uh.
just grab the bully's hand and bite the artery in his wrist.
Damn.
But Lumi is too weak for that.
Shut up.
She can't bite to that.
Easy to
big
overcome
moose flesh.
by other units that are working together in combined arms formations, with several regiments cooperating and fulfilling each other. Now, of course, the command levels necessary to keep a smooth operation at that kind of level with various type of regiments, throwing all kinds of traditional, religious, and class-based differences, is an absolute bloody nightmare, you be damn fucking sure, but it's still better than the potential risk of rebellion. But, moving on, the natural next question may be, do worlds raise one type of regiment? So, for example, do they raise only artillery, or only armor, or multiple? Well, it depends entirely on the world in question. Naturally, it is far easier and cheaper to raise a regiment of infantry than one of armor or artillery, since the former requires access to a forge world and a hell of a lot more training. It's a hell of a lot easier to teach 10 men how to operate las rifles than it is to teach 10 men how to effectively coordinate and operate armored vehicles or artillery in a combined arms situation with other regiments they might never have even heard of and haven't the faintest idea why they keep worshipping the sun all the goddamn time. So, most worlds provide infantry regiments. In the case of a feral or feudal world, there are also cultural considerations that must be made. If you show a man who considers the horse and cart to be the bleeding edge of technology, a Valkyrie gunship, he is unlikely to be able to pilot it overly expertly. Training these troops in the basics of modern warfare and how to operate their new weapons, las weapons, heavy bolters, etc., is more than enough work already, and the Imperium has a need of men now, and not in 6 years. And it would probably take 6 years to teach some feudal tech-level bastard how to operate a helicopter, in this case a VTOL jet. As such, it is simply far more expedient to level infantry regiments, or cavalry regiments even, from these planets. Additionally, of course, you gotta bear in mind that people recruited from these worlds, savage worlds, feudal tech-level worlds with lots of combat and internal fighting, etc., are probably going to be pretty goddamn good melee fighters. As such, organizing them into what are essentially shock troop regiments, designed to be the tip of a spearhead, utilizing other Imperial Guard regiments to offer covering fire and suppressing the enemy, while the feral off-worlders rush up to them and kill them with the good old-fashioned bayonet, or axe, or trench shovel, or sword, or all of the other various thingity-bobs the feudals are more than likely to have brought from their home planets. On the other hand, industrious worlds, or war worlds, can raise entire armies, with all the infantry, artillery, and tanks needed, while many other worlds take pride in creating one type of unit, for example, specializing in storm artillery, or heavy shock troops, or sappers, for example.
You know, I think it's kind of cool that depending on what planet they live on, the Imperial Guard can be super prepared for any type of battle, or I got stick and I got healed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are a million worlds. They all have their own different methods.
There are even
makes
las
sense.
guns. They're called las locks. It's literally a flintlock, like musket las gun.
Yep.
There's literally like a
Love
fucking world that was basically reduced to like World War I like era technology, and they were baffled by las guns. Like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. Like the las lock is one of those really stupid inventions that like only exists purely to just be funny, but I still like it.
Huh.
They literally like shove an energy pellet down the barrel, literally like a ramrod, like you would a bullet from a flintlock in the 1700s, and it's like a little supercharged energy pellet that shoots one shot. It's so dumb.
Okay, Alex, this art is absolutely horrifying, but I like the little helmet on the first picture. It's just sitting there.
I knew you'd like Melissa's art.
It's so good. I need Lumi drawn in this art style now.
I mean,
share the
you can
class.
try and DM the man if you want.
Oh
Send
god,
me
Lumi has to
send me
socially
his
interact.
Twitter.
That's not happening.
I need to inquire about commissions.
Lumi has to.
What have I done,
interact with
chat?
people. That won't
What have
happen.
I done?
He gave me access to a good artist, and I crave art.
But Lumi, you're poor because you drink too much Dr. Pepper. How will you afford art?
He will sell her Dr.
No,
Pepper
no.
cash.
No, this is
That
how I
basically
do it.
laughed
I
you.
put the 12 packs of Dr. Pepper on Throne instead.
Yeah, she begs her chat for money instead.
Chat, can you fund
Fair
my
enough.
Dr. Pepper addiction? I can't
I'm
function
amazed you
without
don't
it.
put Dr. Pepper weekly on your fucking throne.
We need to supply her glue addiction too, chat.
I am
Oh,
so
God.
upset because at Costco they don't have Dr. Pepper, and I'm just like,
Good.
Ugh,
It's
so
better this way.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is. For her blood sugar.
It's for her
Lumi.
safety.
It's okay.
Lumi,
My
you're not
blood
hot
sugar's
'cause-
fine. I drink 0 sugar Dr. Pepper.
I don't think that's true.
literally worse.
Shut up.
So, just an
And
interesting
some words
aside.
go even further, raising regiments of extremely specialized troops, or even specialized abhuman regiments. For example, there is a world in the Imperium, and probably several in fact, that is constantly shrouded in darkness, and over the generations the inhabitants have let their sense of sight atrophy almost completely, relying instead on other senses to guide them in the near total darkness, and these senses have grown stronger to make up for the loss of sight. It stands to reason, therefore, that these troops would be extremely effective at nighttime operations, or on other planets where the light level is naturally low. It should be noted, though, that extremely specialized regiments like this, or for example regiments of super heavy armor, or regiments of drops troops, or marksmen, infiltrators, demolition specialists, etc., are usually broken down into their smaller components, for example company or even squad size, and attached to other regiments on a mission-to-mission basis. For example, a regiment is tasked with the breaching of an enemy bunker complex. Well, in this case, it might be given a couple squads of specialized sapper troops to breach through the bunker walls or reinforce doors, for example. But now that I've mentioned abhumans in the Imperial Guard, I feel they require a special mention. Again,
Look
I will
at those
probably do a
hairy feet,
video
Lumi.
on abhumans themselves at some point.
He looks like Wolverine.
You know, maybe.
I mean,
He's about as tall as him.
Is he
He's
like
a
a
hobbit.
dwarf?
That's literally
They're
a
li-
hobbit
they are
in
literally
40K.
Oh.
It's hobbits in space.
Hobbits in space.
They're called
Yeah,
ratlings.
your favorite faction now.
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. No.
Look at those hairy
No.
feet.
No.
You can
No.
brush them
No.
Lumi, like a cat.
Yeah, Games Workshop really tried to incorporate a lot of Warhammer fantasy races into 40k.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know, Lumi. Fantasy came before 40k.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so that's why you see a lot of the fantasy stuff in 40k, because they try to be, look guys, look at this other cool thing we have, and then it took off, and they're like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
40k
shit, we
became way
need to
more
put effort in
popular.
this now. Damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, they put things in,
Why?
then they got rid of the squats, and then they brought them back in, but not quite.
Lumi, I saw that. I saw
Shut
that twitch away.
up! I pressed the middle of the
you read-
screen to pause. It's not my
That's why you read
fault.
that.
Shut up.
I don't know if you looked at it, she was hovering over the furry
Shut
foot
up.
with a mouse cursor.
Shut-
I wonder why.
Like, I wonder.
I mean, if we want to talk about furries, there's always the felinids from Carlos McConnell.
No,
Yeah,
but they
you
don't
want
have hairy
actual-
feet like
you want-
the fucking ratlings do.
You want cat girls in space, Lumi? We got
Hold
cat
on.
girls in space.
I actually played an Only War campaign where we did play as cat girls. That was fun.
Figures.
In case you're
Uh,
curious, Lumi, you and your other mermaid companions would be abhumans.
Yeah.
Maybe. Depends
Maybe.
how human they were.
No,
But
they would be
still are.
rations. Get it right. They'd be rations.
I mean,
That's just mean.
cornstarch already
Lumi-
exists. We just need
Lumi
fresh
could
cornstarch.
literally commission the art of her in a sushi market. That is not mean.
Yeah, it's not mean. It's asked for.
Uh,
Alright, let us continue.
But for now, the bare-boned basics, at least. As bare-boned as yours truly can make it. First up, what is a abhuman? An abhuman is a stable strain of mutated human that has been accepted by the Imperium as human enough to not be Xenos. And as such, they are considered human, and they are required to pay taxes and serve in the Imperium's armies. But they are pretty much always organized into separate regiments. The Imperium
Found this while looking
damn it,
for
Alex.
art, couldn't resist. Art.
That's a load of horseshit. You need to clip this and send him to be like, what did you mean by this, Arch?
I have some good felonid shit I'm collecting right now. Hold on.
Don't you do it.
Found
Oh,
this
no.
while looking for art, couldn't resist. God damn it, Art. Oh, we
Even
know
back
that.
then, he yearned for the horse meat.
You need to bully him with this on Saturday. Be like, hey, Arch,
Wait,
look
hold
what
on,
I
hold-
found.
Hold on a second. Let me. Let's see. Screenshot. Save.
Turns out Arch was a brony for a lot longer than
Hold
we
on,
thought,
no.
chat.
No, I'm not gonna send that. Let's see. Alright. Arch.
Don't have that up on screen too long, otherwise Ash might get interested.
Let's see. Arch, I know you said you really liked horse meats, but come on. LOL.
Oh no.
That's pretty good.
He's Norwegian. He can't help himself.
He's disabled.
It's a genetic defect at this point. It's quite sad.
Oh god, mercenary.
Oh, Arch loves this kind of horse meat. I mean, they're called meat curtains for a reason.
Yeah.
Mm.
Alright, that's
Imperium can be pretty xenophobic, and asking normal humans to fight alongside abhumans is asking for trouble. Though there are a fair few regiments that have come to value their abhuman brethren and their unique abilities.
Yeah,
And whenever
boy.
possible, these regiments are kept together, simply because a regiment that has no experience fighting alongside abhumans are about as likely to shoot the abhumans as they are the enemy. But, of course, all that
Horse
Uh-oh,
gas
what did he
masks! The horses! I love
yeah, what are you laughing
it! I love those
What?
gas masks on the horses!
You know why?
Yes.
Because
The
they're
Krieg
grafted to their
steeds.
face. It's because they're grafted to their face, Lumi.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So
You're
that when
gonna
they
you're gonna
charge
learn
through
more
toxic
about
gas,
these guys
their
when you
lungs
watch the
don't
Defcon video.
The Krieg
Yeah.
steeds!
Yeah.
So
Those aren't
Arch
really
act-
horses, not anymore.
Arch
What-
actually
what
has a
was it
video
that-
dedicated to the Death Corps
Yeah.
riders. That's
What
pretty
was
good.
it Arch said? That they have more in common with a fucking grizzly bear than they do the standard Terran horse?
Yes.
What?
That's what he said.
Yeah, they're
I love
extremely
that
violent.
quote.
So Lumi, you know how Space Marines are like genetically augmented humans?
Yeah.
That's
These
a
are genetically
Space
augmented
Marine
horses.
horse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Space Marine horse.
You could.
This is
shoot
my
that thing
horse,
with
and
the-
his name is Tiny.
They
His name
actually,
is Gregory.
I think they feed them meat. Actually, like canonically, I think they actually
Yes.
feed them meat.
I believe you're right. I believe the Krieg horses are carnivores now.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were altered till they eat basically anything, to be honest.
I mean, if you make them carnivores, they can eat the bodies of the dead enemies. You know?
Yeah, I know, but
Krieg
you're not
horses
always
are
gonna have meat on hand.
tangentially horses, I see.
Well, on that note, there's a funny little thing that Imperial Guard tanks can actually be fueled by corpses.
Yeah.
Cool.
Corpse starch.
It's called a multi-fueled engine for a reason.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Pebbles in 40k.
Anything that
Fuck
can
yeah.
burn.
Yeah,
Excuse
this
me.
Yeah, Lumi will somehow corrupt this Pebbles and this Henry in the future too.
She'll be cucking kings in space before she knows it.
I
Shut
still
up.
have that clip, Lumi. I still
Shut
have the VOD.
recruiting is all quite pointless without the weapons and
yes, they do,
equipment
Harvey.
with
They do
which
have
their
body
men
armor
are
onto
to
their
fight.
skin.
So let's take a look at the standard outfit of an Imperial Guardsman. First and foremost, the French Imperial Guardsman is given his primary weapon, the lasgun. As the
My
name
beloved.
suggests, this is a laser weapon with a considerable punch for its size and extremely flexible, both in its effective range and punch, and perhaps most importantly, the lasgun power packs are not only reusable and rechargeable in the field, but quite compact and light, especially considering its far greater magazine capacity compared to solid slug weapons. Now, the exact numbers of times you could fire a laser weapon depends almost entirely upon the maker. Some makers allow their weapons to fire more powerful rounds, for example. That produces, of course, less shots. There are also variations in the power pack, in the punch of the weapon, etc., etc., etc. But, moving on, as a standard, the Imperial Guardsman is issued with 2 to 3 power packs, and he is expected to recharge and keep using these 2 to 3 power packs pretty much forever. In reality, though, Imperial Guardsmen, just as any other guardsman or soldier, reliant on ammunition-consuming main weapon, will make damn sure he gets his grubby little hands on as many such power packs as imperially possible. Additionally, of course, the Monitorium realizes that in most cases, a guardsman keeping a hold of 2 or 3 power packs for the entirety of a campaign and never having to need to reload his weapon more than 2 or 3 times is ever so slightly unreasonable. As such, the vast majority of times, the munitorium elements assigned to Imperial Guard regiments will usually allow Imperial Guardsmen to pretty much just raid their storage houses for whatever ammo they can carry, as long as they sign for it and as long as they are willing to take the consequences of losing one of these precious pieces of the machine god's blessing. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, there are...
Okay, so say that somebody does a oopsie daisy and loses, like, a power pack or their gun.
Probably a flogging. Probably.
Yeah.
Probably a flogging.
That's not penal legion level, but you're probably gonna get a whipping or 2. Or just, like, literally the shit kicked out of you.
That shit's expensive, soldier. Don't lose it.
This is why I would put, like, one of those phone leashes on it, where if you drop it, then it just kind of hangs there from your wrist. It's like, oh, look at that.
No, you put a sticker on it that says "Return to Lumi if found." Then that would, the Chaos guys wouldn't steal that. It says it's yours on there. See the sticker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're stickler for rules,
It's like, just imagine, going to fight, and you see just some Xeno scum using your gun, and it's like, hey, that's mine! Give it back!
Yeah.
The sticker said it's mine!
You see
And
that
he goes,
sticker?
"Oh, I'm sorry.
That's mine! Give it back!"
You must abide by sticker law.
Exactly. But then I can just see one saying, I don't know how to read.
Yeah, it's within reason. Like, if you survive, like, an insane battle and you lose a power pack, you might get away with it because, crazy shit was happening. But if you're in the barracks for 6 months and you lose half your packs without firing a single shot, yeah, there's gonna be problems.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was a new recruit that basically got shot because they lost their last gun. Like, oh, you lost your last gun. Time to die.
It's day 1 and you lost your last gun. You are literally useless.
I see.
By the way, I've just posted a bunch of Felnid stuff.
God damn you.
And I'm going to read some super chats really quick.
Yeah, don't be an arch and let them go away.
Mr. Twisted Frenzy, has LumLum been introduced to...
Tempestus Scions, I think he said.
That's weird.
Those are their own separate thing.
I can't remember what he
Ogrins? Is that how it's
said.
pronounced?
Ogrins, yes. They are a type of
If not, there's a
abhuman.
video in the Warhammer chat.
Yeah.
Ogrins are the bestest of boys.
They
are wholesome.
Mercenary X21, join Elf Lawyer and Guilty as Sock LumLum. We'll have to plan a day.
Yeah, that game looks pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie.
Noli's been a member for 4 months, thank you very much. Oh, wait, what? Arch? No, those are not... Elysians? Elysian? Something. Those are, Harakoni Warhawks, LumLum,
Yeah, he got the art wrong in the video he did 10 years ago. Everyone unsubscribed.
Like, I can't believe he did this 10 years ago. Fucking failure.
Calls himself a lore channel. What an idiot.
I know. What a scrub.
Mercenary X21, choking on words, are you sure it isn't Pete? Shut up.
She got a rattling hair caught in her tooth.
I don't know how to pronounce your name, so you're now going to be called Mara. Of course, the first thing a Mexican thinks is a poncho. Yes, because ponchos are very useful.
At least she didn't say, like, lion blanket. Then you would know she's really Mexican.
I do still have at least, like, 3 of those, like, large blankets that just have, like, either a large lion on it, 3 wolves, and what was my other one? No.
Oh,
I think
Queen
my...
has the 3 tiger one.
The other one I think has, like, 6 cats on it.
God.
I think Queen.
Oh man, I gotta go back to the flea market to get some more, because apparently those types of blankets are now, like, not being made anymore.
They've become rare commodities.
Ugh, it's so sad. They're like the best blankets ever. Mercenary X21, Flesh Poncho, aka H.P. Lovecraft Deep One's teenager. Hello, LumLum, for your Dr. Pepper addiction to keep thighs thick. Don't spend it on feet like you did last time. We all know what you did. Shame. I didn't do anything. Mercenary 21. Don't the cat girls in 40K go walk bear paws? Huh?
I don't know. Maybe.
Alaska the First, what guard, weapon / pattern would Lumi like / use for possible future propaganda purposes? I don't know.
Queen has a question. Did you have the blanket with the black and white horse on it?
Yes.
Yes, she did. Oh, she's dying laughing. Hold up.
My grandma has it at her house. Yes,
I swear you both share one brain cell.
I like horses, so of course, like any horse blanket that came across my household, I kept. Shadow Walker, thank you for being a member for 10 months. Yay, for 10 months, almost a year since I found the fish, and it's been fun. Also sent the Twitter link for Musa, in your DMs. Also, I fear what Nem will
Hey, I already did that.
Man,
Well, now
I
she
should
has
get
double
Nem
reason to
drawn
go reach out.
by her. Oh, it's gonna be great. Why will I not say my name while reading super chats? Because then that would just be clipped.
Because Lumi is a bitch.
Shut up.
Damn.
Dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands,
Wait, hold on.
of Lasgun variations.
What?
Behold, I show you Cat
What?
Guild.
God damn it, Alex.
Yeah. The felonids.
Save your fetishes for after stream.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
Lumi finished up.
At first I was
that's
like, what's Kibbs doing here?
Coconut, Lumi. Don't
Okay,
dead name
Coconut.
it.
I'm sorry for misgendering her.
Banned.
God.
Even Kick is gonna be like, that's too rude.
Oh god, this one.
Yeah.
God, who was it?
I love how she scratches on the door. It's
I know.
Scratch, scratch, scratch.
one
Oh my
of those
god, this is
YouTube-
so cute!
If you like this, Lumi, there's a YouTuber who's voiced who's voiced several of the comics with this particular artist, so it's pretty cute.
Yeah.
What a Black Templar!
Oh no.
And there's some more Musa art.
I love them all.
Zoom in on the Beast Woman there.
I was about to say, which one's the Beast Woman? Because there's...
The one
One with
horns,
goat
Lumi.
horns.
Be specific.
No, I am not going to zoom in. Because I know what you shitter's gonna say. Oh well, Lumi, of course you're gonna be zooming in there because look at them grippers. Fuck you.
Well, I mean,
No. I'm more focusing your attention to other things.
You already moused over
Meat
the
shield.
hoop, Lumi. I saw it.
Cunt.
Yes. The context clues to that character there. That character's got a backstory which also has her own artwork. It's fucking grim.
I see.
Lumi doesn't know how to read. She can't do context clues.
Nah, I've given you the man's name. You'll find the art eventually.
Also, I don't know what species she is, but I like how lanky she is.
I can't remember their name, but they're usually pilots.
It's like, look at, she's kneeling down, and she's
I think
still...
that's like their sole existence to be pilots.
Yeah, they're a voidborn abhuman, and they basically only exist. Yeah, they're called Longshanks, and they're basically only pilots.
I see.
Everyone you see there is a version of an abhuman. So you got psychers, you got navigators, you got ratlings, you got Ogren, big Ogren in the back.
I love all of them. They're now my babies.
Protect.
And I'm sure plenty of bad things happen to them.
Oh, many things.
And I will get to at least a few of them in time. As such, while pretty much all Lasguns have at the very
he
least
lies.
some
He's
basic
been
similarities, being all based on the same standard template construct, there are an incredible amount of variety within the line of weapons. For example, some weapons come with fully automatic switches, allowing the weapon to fire full auto. Some don't. Some only allow their users to fire them single or burst shots. Some allow the user to toggle on and off the weapon's boosted abilities. For example, a particular regiment had a weapon with a toggle on it that allowed the weapon to be set from standard Imperial lasgun round to a weaker lasgun round intended for the suppression of civilian populace, where, upon hitting a person, it would cause a really, really nice and solid scorch mark, but no fatal damage, all the way up to an extreme high-powered version that will eventually burn out the barrel and cause pretty damn severe damage to the weapon. Not to quite the extent of a long-lasting hotshot pack, but pretty severe regardless. This was designed specifically to deal with heavy targets. This particular regiment was a Death World regiment. As such, they were quite used to dealing with very, very large predators. The type of large where a single lasgun set to normal would scorch a minor hole in the thing and would only really piss it off, essentially, making it relatively necessary for these regiments to have a way of risking the durability of their weapons in return for a far more guaranteed kill shot against the large gribblies that were trying to have them for dinner. Moving on, we come to the infantryman's ever-trusty companion throughout the ages, the knife. In most cases, the knife is a simple piece of sharpened metal, used both for everyday chores and, of course, killing things. Most regiments also employ it as a bayonet.
Okay, so Arch replied to my message with just a video that says, really cool horse facts, and I am afraid to play it.
Probably don't on stream in case it's just porn, because I don't know if he would or wouldn't.
I don't know, does he send you porn on a regular basis, Lumi?
No, he doesn't send me porn.
Then it's probably safe.
I don't know,
I know
because with me saying Arch,
true,
I know you really liked horse meat, but come on. He retaliates as he sees fit. So I think I'll wait till after stream to watch
It's probably just
it.
a video of them getting shoved into a meat grinder or something.
I'll watch it after stream.
That got your attention, didn't it?
No, I like horses. I don't want
But you
anything
also like
bad
gore.
to happen to them. Horses don't deserve it.
Gore.
Horses don't deserve
But
it.
gore. But gore.
People dying is fine. Horses, no.
Of course.
It's the other way around.
must have
Lumi
standards.
sends him porn. No, I don't.
No, we're not talking about Amalgamate. We're talking about Lumi.
Yeah.
Amalgamite is a special kind of degenerate.
Yeah, she likes nuts.
I feel like Amalgamate and Lumi or Queen would get along fantastically because they're both kind of racist.
Alright, let's
Oh,
keep
good.
going.
Yeah,
It's cool.
although many regiments often use specialized blades for this purpose, either out of tradition or customs, or simply because they have developed one that works for their fighting style. For example, many feral worlds prefer longer, heavier sword-type bayonets, turning their weapons into essentially halberds, rather than the high-tech spear that the regular issue bayonet provides. Another trusty tool of the modern soldier is the 970 entrenching tool, a small folding spade used to make entrenchments, latrine pits, shoveling snow or sand, or any of the other myriad tasks to which you can use a shovel. Additionally, many regiments take quite a fondness to sharpening the rather heavy spade, insisting that it makes a far better close combat weapon than some spindly knife. Of course, many regiments also just flat out bring axes to the battlefield, so in those cases they probably like the axes better. Continuing with the weaponry, the Guard employs several types of grenades, but the most common variants are the frag and crack grenades. The frag grenade is your run-of-the-mill fragmentation grenade used for anti-infantry purposes, or fishing, depending on who you ask, while the crack grenade is an anti-tank weapon using a shaped explosive charge to punch holes in armoured vehicles or bunkers, or anything else heavily armoured, for example, Space Marines. Most of the time, Imperial Guardsmen are equipped with grenades on a mission-by-mission basis. If they are expected to do heavy urban fighting, they're given more frag grenades. If they're expected to hold trench lines against enemy armor, they will be given crack grenades, etc. But, much like the power packs, most Imperial Guardsmen will lie, beg, and steal to make sure he has as many of these grenades as he can. But the standard issue is 1 to 2 of each type if you're in a uncertain engagement. Of course, weapons are all well and good, but the Imperium has poured far too much time and money into the average Imperial Guardsman to leave them completely unprotected. As such, most, though not all, regiments equip their troops with body armor. This can vary from simple flak vests or even chainmail to carapace armor, all the way up to fully powered exoskeletal armor, in the cases of the most advanced regiments. And in a few cases, as I kind of mentioned, there are regiments that just do not use armor. In most cases, this is simply because it would interfere with their given task. For example, the Katachan Devils, jungle fighters extraordinaire, usually either don't wear armor at all, or they wear heavily modified flak vests, simply because a bulky piece of flak armor is going to get in the way pretty goddamn severely when you're trying to navigate a jungle filled with flesh-eating carnivorous plants and dinosaurs. In most cases, though, the poor guardsman is going to have to make do with a standard flak vest and a helmet. And it may seem like inadequate protection for the battlefields of the 41st millennium, and frequently it is, but something is always better than nothing. And, of course, in most cases, body armor of the 41st millennium, at least when we're talking about Imperial Guardsmen, is not really designed to stop projectiles or to hinder injuries. It is simply there to lessen the injury and give the Imperial Guardsman that was so unlucky as to get hit a decent chance of surviving and fighting another day. This is not Space Marine power armor. This is not supposed to withstand the punishment of wandering into entire firing lines of enemy troops. It is simply there to, hopefully, best case scenario, keep the troop fighting after a hit or two, and worst case scenario, keep him alive for long enough for him to receive medical aid. And in addition to these instruments of war, the Imperial Guardsman is expected to care for himself during extended periods of deployment in the field. To this end, he is equipped with a single medipack, a simple tool and survival kit, and a combead, essentially a miniature radio receiver and sender placed in the air for use to communicate with the rest of the regiment.
Okay, so it seems like the main difference between the cannon fodder and the Imperial Guard is that at least the Imperial Guard has a fighting chance being out there on their own. The meat shields are just like, oh shit, you're injured. Oh well. Takes a gun.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, an Imperial Guard soldier is just the equivalent of our modern day soldiers, but with more advanced weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They use pretty much the same tactics.
They're expected to survive. Well, depending on the regiment.
In fact,
but
I don't.
they're expected to.
I think they've actually got better standard of equipment because I don't think modern soldiers have that. Have combeads of the they've got radios, but I don't think they're as long range.
Mm-hmm.
You usually will have a dedicated radio man that's going to have a very extended long range radio, and you'll have inter squad radios, usually in the helmet. But really, the only advantage they have is small arms, and even then, you could argue
the equivalent to our modern day army would be the PDF, because the PDF don't have individual Vox speeds. They have a Vox man who usually coordinates with their squad.
Yeah, and then but we get inter squad radios, like they'll have that.
So yeah, a guardsman is better than our modern soldiers and expected to do roughly the same type of thing.
I see. I understand.
I would argue he's only better in small arms, but that's a different debate because their armor is most definitely not as good.
Yeah, maybe.
It may not be as good, but it looks cool.
It does.
In terms of what it's supposed to go up against.
Yeah. I mean, I would. Level 4 ceramics are pretty tough.
Yeah,
I
love the set of Imperial Guard flak armor.
I mean, I'd like any, but that's because I don't have my own body armor yet. I need to save up. Well,
Anyway,
Lumi and Chad decided I'm getting PC parts instead of gun parts, so this is what I'm doing at first.
Man. Shame.
I would say when it comes to body armor, the body armor is good, but just like the lasgun, like like people have said, well, if the lasgun is so great, why are the Imperial Guards such crap fighting against the enemies of the Imperium? The answer
Because
you
of the
tell them
shit they
is
fight.
well, because the answer is everything that the lasgun was good against is already dead.
Yeah.
Or has already been subdued.
Like-
Same thing
like-
with the armor. The armor was
Like
good.
lasguns are fantastic against like a human to human. A lasgun beats out like a modern like assault rifle every day of the fucking week, of course.
Oh yeah, a lasgun will make your head explode.
Like, well, it's just it's lighter, more maneuverable. There's no drop. The bullets travels basically instant and all that shit. It's easily
think
better
a
than
lo-
a modern rifle.
Yeah, lighter. I think a lasgun weighs 5 kilograms, if I'm not mistaken.
It's good for a
well, not-
beating stick.
Maybe not lighter, but like it's a better. I would take a lasgun over like an AR every fucking day of the week.
Yeah.
Oh
when
yeah,
you're fighting
definitely.
people. But when you're fighting an orc that's like the size of a silverback gorilla and he's got 20 of his buddies next to you, it's gonna feel pretty weak pretty quick.
Yeah.
Same thing with the armor. Like the armor would be great against other humans and other human-based weapons, but against an orc who's got a power axe, or sorry,
Yeah.
chain axe,
or a stick the size of your torso or shit.
yeah. Or same thing with Tyranids. When you have Tyranids that have the ability to cut through Space Marine armor, what's the frickin' what's the
The
guard's
lasgun
vest gonna
still
do?
does things against the Tyranids. It's just there's too fucking many of them.
Yeah, see,
I'm not getting
this
into the
is
space armor thing.
this is one of the big things I actually wanted to get into with this is explaining what the Imperial Guard are not, which is like dispelling misconceptions about them. Everyone sees artwork of them, millions of men, like a sea of, like as Bricky would explain, a sea of guardsmen. They're like,
It's like
that's not just what they do. It's not like World War One level bayonet charge of the machine gun. Like
Not to mention they
These
don't have the
guys-
resources to dedicate that many soldiers to a battlefield
like-
half the time.
a squad of
Man, my-
Imperial Guardsmen versus a squad of our like special forces dude. The Imperial Guardsmen would kick the shit out of them. I'm pretty sure.
Also,
I'll
how
fight against that, I
dare
would
you
say,
say a
but-
slur like Ricky on stream?
I know, but I've got a few enough examples of that.
We say Matara simp in this channel, anyways.
Oh god.
Oh man,
No,
I
I would say that.
I need to subscribe to Pontius's fucking Patreon because him and Pio apparently ripped apart Bricky's videos on the but what was it called, the Dapper War?
Because he does every faction.
I
videos.
can't believe he's hiding
Ooh.
us behind the fucking Patreon. Like, oh, Danny.
He would
He
make
is.
so much-
Danny
God
needs to
fucking
make
damn.
money, but hell, I want to see Danny and Pio just sort of rip apart that man because
It's-
you know
Lumi, I know he needs the money, but I want to keep my money.
Yeah.
it's
Arch
on the
takes too
lowest
much of
tier
mine.
of his Patreon.
Oh well, that's better, I guess.
Can I just throw spaghetti at him instead? Would that work?
Threaten him with pineapple.
No,
instead.
just threaten to snap the spaghetti in half.
I'll do it. I'll step it right near my mic. So like, no.
No, one noodle at a time. Every time he says no, you just hear a snap of a noodle.
And a little bit more of him dies every time.
Exactly. I would say that guardsmen and our soldiers are like equivalent in terms of training, but that's because they're expected to fight like a human revolution. Like guardsmen are more than equipped to take care of.
Yeah.
An orc wog is like a challenge ahead of that, and that's kind
Yeah,
of
and
the point. That's
in
also
terms
the
of
point-
training, definite match. In terms of equipment, way superior.
I'll say only in the lasgun thing, but that's because I know an autistic amount of U.S. small arms, so it's like
Fair enough.
I also used to sell guns for a living, so it's like I know a lot about guns, and I'm like,
I mean, if
There's-
you
there's
try to
at
hide
least-
behind a barricade, eventually the lasgun will just melt through whatever cover
Oh,
you're
yeah.
hiding behind.
oh yeah, no, you're right, but like
Well, unless it's like Rockreed.
this Arch probably isn't going to touch on this, Lumi, but before the heresy, the Guard were not called the Guard; they were called the Imperial Army. They were literally like the backup army. The Space Marines were the tip of the spear, the whole spear, the spear shaft during the Great Crusade.
When you have
Hold on.
hundreds of thousands of space marines, yes.
Yeah, which is why the modern Guard, you're like, man, they're really not equipped to fight the orcs and everything like that. It was like, well, because 10,000 years ago, they weren't expected to. The Space Marines were expected to do that because there was millions of the fuckers.
All right,
They
I'm
would just
about
kinda follow
to.
the Space Marines and like take the cities they took and hold them there.
God, if I can get a good fucking image. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
that's
he's
low
giving the
resolution.
image. one thing I would like to say, because someone said it earlier, the Guard is expected to fight uprisings and rebellions. Not technically
Well, I'm
true.
saying like that's when they're like the best at, is what I was saying.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what they were.
but the
doing, the best
PDF
at.
is actually
That's the
expected to.
PDF. So it's what
Yeah.
that's what the PDF is meant for.
Yeah, that's what they're bent for. But like, if you were to send in the Guard, like, oh, they've
Oh, it
got
would be
that,
over.
It's over
Mhm.
before it begins. But then you send them to fight the Orc Wog that's been going on for 3 centuries next door, and it's like, I don't.
I mean, they're not going to lose, but they're not going to make any major gains.
It's gonna take a couple decades, but they're gonna win eventually.
Yes.
And then the Tuners come like, well, good
And
luck.
that's just, again, that's because from their inception of the Imperial Army, they weren't really meant to do those things in the first place. They were meant to, at best, reinforce the Space Marines in combat, and at worst, like, hold the cities the Space Marines took.
I mean, granted, the Horus Heresy wouldn't have gone as far if they didn't have Imperial Army like elements, because as many Space Marines there wouldn't be enough.
Oh no, that's what I say. Like the Space Marines would take a planet, the Imperial Army would hold it.
Yes.
That's kind of what it was, and that's kind of still how it is now,
Pretty much.
a way.
Okay. I'm about to post a couple things. So, you've seen what the Imperial Guard are now. What I'm about to show you is what the Imperial Guard used to be.
The
Yep.
Solar Auxilia, the Imperial
Yep,
Army.
you already know.
That's
The
not even
Giga
the
Chads.
okay. That even then, that's very hyper specific part of the Imperial Army. You did.
It's a very cool part of the Imperial Army, though.
Yup.
Oh, jeez.
He had a
Huh.
Volkite gun.
I got a couple more.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
fucked. They fucked.
That
hard.
was your standard infantryman back in the day.
Yeah, this was the standard. Like, these were the they're so cool.
Even by
And-
those standards, those were the elite guardsmen, like the elite.
That
elite
is so
guard.
cool.
But even then, like, the only Space Marines or the only guardsmen I could see doing that right now are Tempestus Scions, and even then.
No, I can't even see
What about the
them doing that, I'm
Lucius
sorry.
Blacks?
Well, yes,
the
the
Lucius
Lucius
Blacks
Blacks.
are kind of a league of their own. When you're expected to protect the palace with the Custodes, I don't think.
What you're seeing right now is essentially the Lucius Blacks. I'm sorry, this is basically what they are right now.
Pretty
Don't
much.
ruin my power fantasy, Eclipse.
That's the truth, though. Shut up.
The truth is what I make it.
No, it's not. The truth is the truth. The
So, yeah,
impure truth is the only truth.
Basically, all you need to know is the Imperial Guard have gotten significantly downgraded over the years, unfortunately.
I won't even say that. They're the same. They just that this is you're focusing on one needle in a fucking pile of needles. Again.
Yeah, but it was a pretty common pile of needles back
I
in the
don't
day.
think it was. There's a reason they're called the Solar Auxilia. They were focused around Terra.
No,
Yeah,
they
that's
were
what
all over the place during the Great Crusade. Anyway, let's continue.
Anyways, Volkite to the world leader phase.
Along with his mess kit and water canteen with rations enough for usually 2 weeks as standard, a blanket, a sleeping bag, a rechargeable lamp pack, a grooming kit, his dog tags, and a copy of the Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer, which is a basic guide that details everything a guardsman needs to know. Principles and regulations of the Imperial Guard, issued arms, attire, apparatus, and equipment, basic battlefield policy, and Imperial Guard organization and structure, along with elementary battlefield medical instructions and a detailed a guide on the foes of the Imperium. Or emergency toilet paper, again, depending on who you ask. Now, of course, no guardsman with any time in the field would ever be bringing all of that junk with him all the time, and usually only bring what they think will be necessary, and supplement their kit with various other gadgets and knickknacks, but the standard issue kit is of course meant to give the guardsman all the things he might need, rather than a list of stuff he should carry with him wherever he bloody well goes. Additionally, non-standard equipment might come in the form of respirators for operating in poor or downright toxic climates, or mines and demolition charges perhaps, if the regiment is expected to take part in urban fighting. Many regiments also use specialized items, like for example, the Tarnith 1st and Only Regiment, specialized in infiltration and stealth work, use so-called camo cloaks that are able to blend in nearly perfectly with the surrounding environments. There are, of course, a whole host of various specialized gears, and I will be touching on a fair few of them when I get to individual regiments. But for now, moving on. In most cases, the gear of an officer
Did Arch ever get to the individual regiments?
He did.
He got to like 3 or
Did.
4.
Oh, okay.
On a few of them,
Yeah.
yes.
But like years and years later, he
It
only
took
did
him
them
forever.
like 5
The,
years
the,
after
the,
Lumi,
the
when was this
Deathcore
video?
one was his magnum opus, we gotta admit.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe.
Lumi, when was this video made?
This video was
10 years ago.
made almost 10 years ago.
So he did his he just said in the beginning he was gonna do the Valhalla Winter Soldiers. He did that 2 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, it took him 7 years. It took him fucking forever.
Have-
I think the most like the earliest one I can recollect is the Mordian Iron Guard
I think it's
Yeah.
either the Mordians
or the Macabrian.
or-
Wait, wasn't it
this
the
one. No, he
Armageddon
did the
Steel Legion?
Dragoons too. He did the Dragoons too.
Oh, that's
He
right.
did the Armageddon Steel Legion with his War for Armageddon videos.
Yes.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh yeah, the Piran Dragoons, the guys who ride the Velociraptor thingies.
Yeah, with like lance guns.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Basically, Arch is a filthy liar and takes years to do anything, even though he knows it can get done quickly because he's lazy.
He'll be dead before he gets through all of them.
He will
I mean,
get
to
dead
be
before
fair,
he will be
to be
dead
fair, he
before he
makes
gets through
jokes
another
about it.
Primarch video.
he often says he's going to do it sometime before the return of Christ.
That's technically right.
The return of Christ happens. Oh man.
But you know,
Oh,
I'll tell
man.
you right now, lying's a sin. Remember that.
Lying's a sin, and Arch is steeped in it right now.
He is the arch
I
sinner.
remember when he was like, "I'm gonna go through all the Primarchs and do what if they were loyalists or what if they were traitor videos," and that was like 3 years ago, and he has not done a single one since.
I
You know,
want to see the Sanguinius traitor video. That would be awesome.
That would be cool.
It's like, honestly, I think sometimes Arch just bites a little more than he can chew. Because he
Arch has always had a history of lots of big ideas, and sometimes
He has
he's
ambition.
managed to pull them off.
he is a very
He has
ambitious
a lot of
man.
ambition.
Yeah, I could definitely
Yeah.
pick up on that.
And,
It's
and
like,
here's the thing though, when he
Mhm.
does it though, he fucking knocks it out the fucking park. Like
Yeah, he's
Brad,
achieved a lot of
Madog,
those ambitions.
Savage World.
Oh, yeah.
When he does them, he knocks it out the park. He just has to fucking stop eating and do it.
I think he's just a perfectionist about quality now.
oh
Just
yeah.
stop
too.
eating rotten fish.
That too. Well,
I mean, to be fair, like if I was to compare Arch to any one of the Primarchs in terms of his work ethic and how he goes about this, I'd say Petarabo. He has a lot of projects.
He's
I
like
knew you were
Petrov
gonna
in
say
more
that.
ways than one.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, it's
Petrov
like that's
is the
why
best
whenever Arch is like, LumLum, stream for me today, and then I'm more than happy to just like, you know, stream on his channel so he has time to do whatever the heck he has planned, or unless he just sits around and just eats pastries all day. Who knows?
He probably does just
Boo.
eat pastries all day.
Boog is in chat. Make him do a Primarch fund. You know what, Boog? Instead of the curry fund, we're doing Primarch funds now on this fucking Archcast.
I don't know. Bring up the Primarch fund. And see what he says, or you know, and try to barter with him. It's like, hey, if we extend this fund by a month, he could switch from curry fund to Primarch fund. Yeah, you gotta talk him up a bit.
He's Norwegian. He can't handle spices.
Well, conveniently enough for us, Lumi, you do happen to be a very convenient spokesperson for us.
Indeed.
Yes, but Lumi also doesn't remember things.
That's true.
She will if you bully her enough.
No.
Speaking of which, Lumi, did you remember to write in your day planner to take a shower and to go to sleep today, or do we have to remind you to write it down so you can remember
Lumi
later?
probably forgot the
I
planner
took a shower
exists,
2
so-
days ago. It's fine.
Who did?
what?
Jesus Christ. Okay, Queen. Jesus
Stinky
Christ.
ass
okay.
woman.
Hey, sometimes I just kind of forget. And
we
now I'll
noticed.
remember a bit more since it's actually starting to get hot out.
No, because then you're just be like, oh, it's too hot. I can't move. I can't go.
The fish
No,
is beginning to fester. Take a
I
shower.
would rather just like sit in the shower so then I can cool off after I get out.
The
Oh,
fish
God,
is
now-
beginning to fester. If we bury her and let her rot for a few days and ferment, we can take her out just like the archfish over in Norway.
Alright, chat, we're gonna have a new problem every Warhammer Wednesday. It's not because Lumi's gonna be asleep, it's because she's gonna be in the shower for 3 hours and it's too wrinkly to move.
In the shower crying,
She's gonna be stuck to the floor with wrinkles. You're like, I can't get up.
becoming
Oh,
a
no."
prune. Shriveled up.
She's gonna sit
She's
down in the chair.
shriveled.
We're gonna hear her skin wrinkling because she's so fucking pruned up.
All right,
Just
let's
give herself trench foot.
Let's continue.
Trench tail.
That is fairly similar to that of their troopers. But they are usually given an extra choice of weapons, and they're usually allowed to bring whatever weapons they see fit. They also are often offered a better armor, or the right to bear symbolic weapons, like for example a melee weapon. Some regiments, for example, still use halberds to denote the rank of sergeant. They also given access to sidearms, be they normal las pistols, bolt pistols, plasma pistols, all kinds of stuff. Mostly depending on whatever the officer can scrounge for himself. Many regiments also have various ways to mark out officers in battle, like, for example, the aforementioned halberd, or a special hat, or a cape, for example. Additionally, the higher ranks of officers, often more or less officially, acquire additional gear, like power weapons or plasma pistols, or even personal force fields, though this last item is usually reserved for generals and high command. But, again, as we have already established, Imperial Guard personnel is not about lying, begging, stealing, and plundering whatever they can possibly get their hands on to increase their chances of surviving, for relatively obvious reasons. Now, we have the men, and we have the equipment, so let's have a look at the command elements of a regiment. At the top of the regiment is a single colonel, with a major serving as his second-in-command and his de facto aide. After this, though, things get a hell of a lot more fluent, as regiments can consist of virtually any number of captains and lieutenants. Normally, each captain is in charge of 2 to 4 platoons, each platoon commanded by a lieutenant, but this can vary wildly with the size and composition of the regiment, and even the regiment's heritage and traditions. For example, from many feudal worlds with a strong nobility, there are often dozens of captains and lieutenants, and even some cases majors, who serve little to no real purpose within the regiments. They are essentially there purely because their family expects them to be a high-ranking officer. And if the planet can't support enough regiments to give everyone an appropriate title, then positions must simply be invented for them. In most cases, the Munitorium is willing to just let this slip simply because dealing with this kind of nonsense is just too goddamn much fucking paperwork. And then, of course, we come to the real leaders of any army, the NCOs, the non-commissioned officers, where sergeants are put in charge of single squads and aided by a corporal. The standard squad consists of 10 men and can be easily split into 2 units, one commanded by the sergeant and the other by the corporal. But, as with most things in the Imperial Guard, this can vary wildly from regiment to regiment. In fact, in many armoured units, it is customary to promote the driver and the gunner to the rank of corporal, as a sign of prestige. Just to, bring them out of the muck of their normal foot-slogging filth. Ugh. And in some feral regiments, the corporal, and in a few extreme cases the sergeant, is decided by mock combat, fought with what may or may not be sharp weapons, depending on just how feral the regiment is. Then we have a whole...
Okay, so... you could get promoted by beating each other up with a stick. I understand.
Maybe.
Sometimes.
It sounds like a common man thing to do. It's like, no, I want to be the king of the hill. No, I do.
Like if I'm recalling this correctly, to achieve higher standing in a Catachan regiment is to have the bigger knife.
Yes.
Oh, my knife's bigger than
Who
yours.
has the bigger and better groomed beard?
Jeez.
I don't think it's about beards for the Catachan.
I could just see this in like the most fucking homosexual way. It's like, oh, I bet my sword's bigger than yours. No, here, and then just pulls it out of the sheath. Oh, like so gently.
So big.
And it's like, oh,
it's
look at this. And it's like, oh, so yours might be longer, but mine is stronger. And then they just chip the knife, and it's like, oh, how dare you?
Mine is girthier. Like, uh-oh.
Oh my
anyway,
God.
I've posted a visual aid for what a regiment might look like with minis.
Holy.
Yeah, that's a couple $1,000 worth of right there.
You're optimistic.
I said a couple thousand. I don't think that's right.
More than 1,000, more than a couple thousand.
Yeah.
5,000 at the least.
What
the fuck was that?
Was that a fart?
No, that was a door opening.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Are you sure?
Chat.
The queen farted.
This is from the guy that eats beans for a living, so.
Who the fuck?
You're British. Your staple is beans on toast.
I mean, my mic doesn't even pick up background noise anyway.
So you
I
say.
picked up that one.
I've been trying to whistle the whole time, and it's not picking up.
Boog, that's not like an actual like well, I mean maybe in like an apocalypse game. That's more like a mock demonstration.
That is a lot of minis, and that looks like an entire college fund in one picture.
It is, yes.
Some,
We don't
you
use it
can
for college. We use it for other important things. Because
You
we
don't
all
know how
know
to tell
college
who's
is
a trust
worthless.
fund baby? Look at his Warhammer army.
Yeah. So maybe we should look at Arch's Warhammer army. Maybe we'll know if he's a trust fund maybe or not.
No, I don't even know. I think he has his Dark Elf army still, or his Drukhari army.
I should have known he had one of those. What a freak.
Yeah.
I think he's. I know Sargon's an Eldar player, which explains a lot. But
That actually surprises me a bit.
Don't invest in a 401k. Invest in 40k.
No,
Alright,
God.
someone give them a membership.
Oh my God.
So, Mercenary, just for your comment there, no, the Catachan Jungle Fighters are not Chuck Norris. They are mini Rambos who worship. Oh God.
No, all the Catchans are mini Rambos. Well, the real Rambo is Sly Marbo.
There, that's it. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you.
No,
Yeah, the
Benny,
Catachans are all fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
They pretty much all are.
No, Benny. Sargon has a Eldar army, and he's got some Dark Angels. But
Well, that one makes sense, actually.
Dark
he only has
Angels,
a
yes.
couple. He only has a couple. He has like a Terminator, like an old Dark Angels Terminator, not even like a Deathwing.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you right now, Catachans do not have commissars in them. I will say right now.
Some regiments actually just don't.
Well, yes, the Catachan don't. I can always guarantee that.
Art said he is a trust fund baby. The Norwegian government pays for his family's company. Man, I wish I could be a trust fund baby. Ugh.
Well, I mean, when you're a European major manufacturing company, of course you're going to be government supplied.
Well,
That's kind of just law.
Let me just go steal some documents and doctor your name into like those family documents, so you're now legally part of the family and part inherent to their wealth. Yes.
Lumi, Hergen, Flurgen, Sturgenberg.
Lumi Hergenberg. Yes.
Hergen, sure.
Hergen, Flurgen, Lerman.
Laurie, Hergen, Bergen.
Lumi von Braun.
Lumi
Laurie
von Braun.
Larry Weinstein. There we go, Chad.
Shut up!
Yes, Larry.
The fact
okay,
that
Larry,
Arch
you'll
is
take
dying
it up.
on the hill of maybe Harvey Weinstein was the good guy all along is just funny.
Hey, what did Kanye say? Everyone's brought something to the table, including Hitler.
Damn.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Wait, hold on. Arch is saying he's doing Stanford Bridgecast tomorrow. Wait, hold on. Arch, you little shit. Hold on.
It's Thursday tomorrow.
Oh God, we have
Hold
a
on.
click in the
No,
chat.
Arch
Atari's
does
in the
Stanford
chat.
Bridge
Oh,
on
God.
Fridays.
No, he does it on Thursdays.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, he always has.
Yep.
He's
Am I
just
losing
skipped
my-
the last 2 times because I don't know who, but one of them is being a woman.
Well, I
I
mean, they're
think
both
that's-
women.
I think it was Sargon was the reason why. I think Sargon was on vacation for one, and then he just didn't want to do the other.
Yeah, I don't know.
Prior engagements, I think.
Yes.
Okay, what?
Atari, you are a twink. You're Swedish. Shut.
Wait, hold on.
You're totally
Arch, you
right.
little shit. Hold on. I need to reply to this message because he was like, LumLum, you want to do this on Thursday? And I guess not. Hold on. Are we pushing this to next week? Question mark. Okay. Alright, let's keep going.
Also, I would like to point out,
What?
if Arch is DMing you, he's clearly not doing anything at the moment. You may as well haul him in here every now and then.
I'm not
Arch
gonna
is
force
gonna-
him to
no,
just
let's
like
not.
join
Yeah, let's
BC
not.
because I know he likes his quiet time.
He needs to eat his meat pastries in peace and quiet, so that way he can chomp out like a fucking rat.
And also, if he's not streaming right now, he's probably playing Dune Awakening.
Fair. He's got his addiction now.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Oh, it's funny.
We'll see if it develops to be an unhealthy one.
Probably. I mean, he hides like all of his gaming activity on Steam, so no one can see it. Bullshit.
Clever.
Figures. Coward.
Pussy.
Because
Yup.
he doesn't want anyone to know how many hentai games he actually plays.
Oh.
I can sympathize with that.
Pussy. Show it with pride. Like, yes, I played Tentacle Simulator 999 yesterday.
Yeah, I've downloaded the first Rants game. I'm currently playing through that.
Yes, I played Tomboys Extreme. What about it?
Okay, you guys are more lewd than me. All I have is handholding simulator.
God, you're a bitch.
Excuse me.
Looking disgusting.
Alright, let's keep going.
Whole mess of various attached personnel. The most common, and indeed required, of these is the Commissar. The Commissariat and its workings is a video all in and of itself, but all you really need to know in the context of the Imperial Guard is that they are political officers, responsible for maintaining order and discipline within the regiments, through whatever means they deem necessary. If you don't know what a political officer is, well, compare them to the Commissars of the Red Army of World War II, for example. And, of course, when I say every means necessary, that does indeed include summary executions. The Commissar exists outside the regimental hierarchy of the Imperial Guards in terms of command, unless they have a double rank, for example, the famous Colonel Commissar Ibrahim Gaunt. This is an extreme rarity, though. The Commissars can, however, take temporary command over a unit, or indeed an entire regiment, if it finds itself without a leader, if, for example, the Commissar has just shot said leader for cowardice or any other reason he might deem suitable. And then that is the Adeptus Mechanicus, with its various attached groups of tech priests and engine seers. These are also considered outside the
What the fuck are engine seers?
Engine
Engine
seers
seers
are
are
like,
literally they're just mechanics.
Yeah,
People
Okay.
who see to your engine, literally.
they're dedicated like mechanics for like Imperial Guard vehicles and shit.
Okay.
they're called
I-
cog boys.
I was thinking, like, whenever something is, like, insert whatever noun here, seer, it's like, okay, so do the machines speak to them? It's like, oh,
Kind of-
yes,
well, yeah.
Carl
I
here
guess.
says he
Kind
needs
of?
more oil in WD-40.
Ironically, that's actually kind of the case.
Look,
They
it's
Oh.
they
not,
commune with the machine spirit.
it's not oil and WD-40. They are sacred unguents.
Yes.
Okay, so sparkly WD-40.
Exactly.
Yes.
Holy
WD-40.
WD-40.
Holy
Maybe some blood.
blessed
Probably.
WD-40.
They do
so
have plus
engine
oils.
Engine seer is a specific like I don't know how to say rank. It's a specific like profession which you are maintaining like spaceships, vehicles, like you are actively constantly on maintenance duty.
It's
And there
basically
are
the
ranks.
guard equivalent of a tech marine.
Yeah, there are ranks too.
Mhm.
Not even just guard. Rogue traders have engine seers that look over the engines of their ships and shit. There's engine seers that maintain void ships and stuff.
You know, it's like hearing that the machines have like human components and whatever in them. It sounds, well, granted we already know how much was stolen from Dune, but it just sounds like they're gonna have their own Butlerian Jihad in the future. Because just imagine all the machines just overthrowing things. The tech priests get a little too uppity and tries to enslave
mean-
everybody.
That kind of
Uh,
happened.
Yeah, we kind of already had a machine uprising.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's
You
why
see, that's the
AI
reason they
doesn't
call
stand.
it. That's why it's called
Ah.
abominable intelligence.
They already had their own AI rebellion. Already did
Yup.
that. They already had one.
They did it. Done. Already had it. Name
That's
it. We
one
did
of-
it.
The Men of
It's one of the
Iron,
reasons why
4K
the
had a
old
jihad.
Human Federation fell.
Okay. That's why they
Yeah,
have human parts.
Yes,
I
that's why.
see.
That's why servitors exist, because they need
Yeah.
the human element.
She doesn't
In
know about the
40K,
Mars
every-
situation. No. What happened on Mars?
You don't need to know yet.
Yeah.
I don't need to know yet. Okay, we'll save that for
But
another
basically,
week to
um,
let the guard shine.
Yeah, in 40K, every single time an AI is made, it comes to the conclusion that humanity needs to be exterminated. So
I see.
But I
One
think
of the
it's
reasons
because
the tower
the
fucked.
AI is extremely anti-warp, and humans add to the warp energies. So
Yes.
basically, they try to starve out the warp by destroying anything that adds to it.
it sees us as the main fuel source for chaos, so it wishes to stamp that out.
Yes.
I
and
see.
its most simple solution to that is killing all of us.
But the funny part is, they can also be corrupted by the warp.
Your sister's
Yeah,
pregnant.
with scrap code.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
That's a thing in and of itself. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
It's
we'll
okay.
look at that later. But we'll just name that stream "What the fuck happened on Mars."
Well, you see a lot of things happen on Mars.
The
There was
short
a
version of it
dragon,
is-
there was a golden dude. Things
Yes.
happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
Authority of the Guard itself, and even commissars cannot discipline them like he can Imperial Guard personnel. As such, the Mechanicus elements have no command authority over even the lowest Imperial Guardsmen, but nevertheless, most regiments put in place standing orders for all Guardsmen to protect and help Mechanicus personnel in any way they can, as without the Mechanicum, the regiment cannot remain operational for very long. Then there is the Psykers. In extreme circumstances, regiments may have representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica attached to them. However, such a posting holds great dangers for both the Psyker and the men around him, and is usually only done if the regiment in question is expected to be in direct contact with enemy Psykers or warplay-related magics. These Psykers are also not under the command of the regiment they are attached to, although they are usually instructed to carry out objectives that correlate to the unit they will be supporting. And unlike the Adeptus Mechanicus elements, the Psyker is most definitively within the Commissar's purview. In fact, with the attachment of a Psyker, the Commissar's primary duty becomes to watch over the Psyker for any signs of unusual activity and to put a stop to it with a well-placed bullet, if needs be. Then there are various members of the Adeptus Ministorum that are attached, or in most cases simply attach themselves, to Imperial Guard regiments. These priests and confessors tend to the spiritual well-being of the regiment, and remind the men of their holy duty to burn and cleanse and burn and cleanse and be, in general, extremely violent towards anything that is not human. This may in some cases seem to be a somewhat pointless thing to have in an army, but it must be remembered that the average Imperial Guardsman is pretty goddamn religious, and the presence of a priest can be of great comfort to them. And the priests also fill a limited military role in their ability to rile up the men with holy fervour, and convince them of their holy purpose to, as we have already discussed, maim and burn in the name of the God Emperor. Lastly, we will leave behind all the command and various attached echelons, and proceed to the grunts, the good old foot sluggers. The basic Imperial Guardsman is divided into two classes. You might refer to it as private and private first class. There is the regular guardsman who was trained and mustered on his homeworld and is usually a veteran of the local PDF, the Planetary Defense Force, and this guardsman is usually a volunteer, as the guard is normally formed from the best of the PDF, though in cases of lacking patriotic spirit, the Imperia most certainly do not shy away from a little good old-fashioned conscription. And then there's the conscript, or probitors, as they are known officially, and usually referred to by their new comrades in considerably less flattering terms. For example, meat shields. This class of guardsmen must not be confused with conscripted regular guardsmen, though. The conscript is essentially a civilian, given minimal training and pressed into duty to replace combat losses and man secondary defense.
You know, I would so join the guard just for a horse. Because it looks so cute.
Well,
You
better
don't
join the
want
Death
that
Guard,
kind
then.
of holster.
No,
No,
I
you
want
want
to
that
put
kind of
little
horse.
stickers on the grafted mask.
Well, there are
Okay,
regular
you
horses
may
that
want
do
that kind of holster.
Okay, I think I actually need a piece of art, just Lumi just slapping stickers on a horse mask, like, hey.
Okay, there's a lot of art that Lumi needs to have commissioned now.
Yes.
I feel like Tori could do a very funny version of that with like a Death Corpse steed and Lumi's just next to it going plat sticker, plat.
Slap, clap, clap sticker.
Ah.
Get cute, get cute, get cute, get cute.
So cute and funny.
Lumi would just like, you know, make sure the horse looks all nice and pretty and taken care of, and then completely
has to be a
murder
foot
everyone
sticker.
around her.
No, like
You will
Lumi's
never
standing
make that
next to
horse
the-
look pretty.
Lumi's standing next to the Death Corpse Steve, and she's got like a sheet of stickers of different sea buns.
Hee!
That would be cute.
No,
Yes.
the Death Corps, like, quartermaster is about to give Lumi her horse, just sitting there with, like, entire page of stickers, like, looking giddy, like, yee.
You could see his blood pressure rising through the mask.
And the horse's face just goes pale, like, oh, fuck.
The Krieg don't allow stickers. Morale is not a priority.
That's not true.
That's
They
true.
just have a very different version of what morale means.
The
Yeah,
Krieg
well,
just
actually,
don't
that's a good
have
point.
it in general. They
Morale
don't need
means
it.
congratulations, men. You get to die. Yes.
That
think
horse would
that's
eat
what
your
everyone's
face off,
morale
Lumi.
is.
I don't care. I'm gonna take care of the
Not if
horse
you-
and I'm gonna name her Sparkles.
There are
Not
less
if you treat
snacks.
the horse well.
So,
you know
It's
what,
like
mercenary-
I'll just cut the fingers off of dead bodies and just feed them to the horse like carrots.
Like carrot, like dude,
The
I
word
like carrots.
itself.
fair enough.
You know what? Mercenary has a great idea. A horse-sized sea bun.
Yes.
A sea bun with a Krieg mask would be pretty funny.
You'd pump
Ah,
that
that
horse
would
full
be
of Dr.
Ash's. That
Pepper.
would be Ash's sea bun then. A horse-sized sea bun would be perfect for Ash.
Sparkles the
Yeah.
death
Also-
pony. Yes.
Also, Lumi, so he mentioned probitors, I think, the civilians who are conscripted to fight. A perfect example of this, somewhat unusual, but a perfect example of this is Death or Glory, Caiaphas Cain. That is a great example of how that works.
I don't think you need to expand on that because I don't think I remember that part.
That's the one where Cain the Liberator, crash lands, has to gather a whole bunch of civilians.
That's my
Yes, never
favorite
mind.
book.
Yep, never mind. I got it.
Yeah, that's my favorite out of the whole series. I love that one.
It's just that it just shows his lecherous in form. You're like, ooh, a female engine seer bathing. I'm gonna look at that.
Yes. The tomboy engine seer.
But keep in mind,
Yes.
that was before he met Amberly, and Amberly is a
No,
confirmed
she knew.
yandere.
I think they knew each other. It doesn't matter though. Cain will go after
Yeah.
other women too.
No, like Amberly is a confirmed yandere. She has said on multiple occasions she would know if Cain has slept with any other woman.
Yeah,
Like
she
Cain
does
has
mention that.
Like Cain has slept with other women.
Before he met her, yeah.
I think after still too.
Oh yeah, and whenever sometimes in the books it's about to end with a sex scene and then Amberly just cuts it off abruptly.
Yeah, you don't need to see this.
Yep.
She is quite smug when it comes to Cain complimenting her, but the moment it gets to any of the details, she's just like, and you don't need to know. anymore."
Okay, right. I need to mention this right now. So the Cyphers Kane audio books, they actually have a female voice actor to do the
Yes.
Inquisitor notes, and she
Well, I mean, I
is
would hope so.
so fucking smug. I love
She
her
is,
voice
and I
actor.
love her for it.
Yep. There's one part where Kane admits to himself
don't
that she.
spoil. Someone's
No
saying don't
spoils.
spoil.
Yeah,
No,
that's true.
this isn't a spoiler because there's no context to it. But he admits that she's right about something, and then you just get an editorial note of her just going, "Ha!"
I was right. Oh, that's right. She did. Do that.
Yes, she did that.
Yes, I love that. Penelope Rawlings is the voice actor. She does a really good job.
Yes, yes, she does.
She's also voiced Peppa Pig books. I looked in her library to see what other work she's done. Peppa Pig books, for some fucking reason, is
That's
most
fine.
of her work. Anyway, continuing on.
lines or carry out guard or garrison duty. Most regiments do make an effort to train and fully integrate these new bloods wherever possible, though of course trained replacements from their own world are always preferred. Some regiments, though, employ these new boots as, well, meat shields, essentially, yet others will classify all new recruits, even conscripts from their own planets, as probitors until they have proven themselves worthy in battle. An example of this would be the Cadian White Shields. These new men are not allowed to display their regimental colours or insignia on their uniforms until they have passed this test. And the test can vary greatly. Some regiments simply require them to survive their first battle and, not run away, while others require, for example, a show of bravery, or perhaps that they kill an enemy and bring back a trophy, for example. Some regiments go even further, demanding that a new recruit must kill an enemy in melee combat before he can be accepted as a member of the regiment. Now, having gone through the Imperial Guard regiment, I figured I should also touch upon the higher echelons of Imperial Guard command. Above the regiment, we enter the ranks of the High Command, with a general usually being in charge of 3 or more regiments, though there's little standardization of command size above the rank of colonel, simply due to the extreme variations in size and scale of Imperial Guard operations. Above the General, we find the first Lord rank, namely that of Lord General Militant, a position usually entrusted with the management of an entire theatre of operations. This theatre can, however, vary quite remarkably in size, from a single continent to a planet to a solar system, or, in even some extreme cases, multiple solar systems. In most cases, this will be the highest-ranking local officer in areas of relative peace and quiet, well, by Imperial standards anyway. Above him again comes the Lord Commander, of which there are 5, each being responsible for one of the segmentum of the Imperium. This is primarily an Imperial Navy posting, with Imperial Guard actions usually carried out by the local Lord General Militant. And finally, at the top of the command chain, we find the Lord Commander Militant, the Supreme Commander of the Imperial Guard and one of the High Lords of Terra. There is, though, one further title I should mention, that comes in kinda between that of Lord Commander Militant and Lord General Militant, namely the title of War Master. Though, after the Horus Heresy, the title of War Master is often replaced with the title of Lord Solar, due to the somewhat unfortunate history of the War Master title. A Lord Solar is the officer in charge of an Imperial Crusade, a massive undertaking that can include forces from dozens of Lord General Militants, and in many cases even draw strength from multiple segmenta. Additionally, such an undertaking is also frequently supported by non-Imperial Guard elements, like the Adeptus Astartes or Mechanicum Forces, like the Skitarii and the Titan Legions. And it is the Lord Solar's job to keep all of these hundreds, if not thousands, of regiments and non-Imperial Guard forces all pulling in the same direction, making the position as much about politics as it is about military matters. Having gone over all that, let us lastly look at why an Imperial Guard regiment is created. We have already talked about how it is created, and mentioned that many worlds create regiments at a fixed speed, for example, 1 per year, etc. But in many cases, regiments are raised not as part of the annual tithe, but as a part of the way in which the Imperium reacts to threats. I talked about this in the Imperium video as well, but to reiterate quickly, if an Imperial world comes...
Did he say tect?
You did. He said
He tried
tact.
to say talked, but he slurred himself pretty bad. He texted.
He ticked.
Tect.
Tick.
Tect.
By the way, since we've got a pause, here you go. Cypher's Kane and the gang.
God damn it. Oh, yes. I love this artist. It's fantastic.
He's
And of course,
adorable.
there's always Jurgen in
Poor
the background. Look, not poor Jurgen. That boy just simply does his job.
And everybody forgets about him.
No, I don't. I never forget about him.
No, in lore, everybody forgets about Jurgen. He's left out of everything.
No, it's not that he's forgotten. It's just that he's ignored or repelled.
Why is
Yeah,
he always in the
nobody wants to use
background?
him.
Because that's what he does. He's the aide. He's like, you want
Yeah.
some Tana, sir? You want some Tana, sir? Oh, I'd love some Tana.
Also
Mm.
smells
He looks so cute in this one. He's just a little guy.
Oh, he is an ugly motherfucker.
He's
also
just a little
Yeah,
guy.
he also reeks.
Yes.
But that actually might be because, okay, as we covered in like a previous video, he's a blank. So
Oh,
he's anti-psyker.
And
a
everyone's
blank
weird
and a
around him,
psyker?
and
No, he's
And-
he's a blank, so which
Oh.
means he's anti-psyker.
okay.
Yeah,
I was
there's
about
a
to
theory-
say, how can you be both?
There's a
With
theory that
great
his
hair.
bad smell is actually a manifestation of his null powers that
Yeah,
makes
that's-
people feel uncomfortable.
That's basically like how I like. Oh, that explains why people don't like him, I guess.
yeah, because he also, like Lumi, doesn't bathe very often, so
Shut
he
up!
just smells horrific.
Maybe
Hold on,
maybe
let me,
Lumi's
uh,
our own personal Jurgen.
Ah,
Shut
yes.
up.
How
Let me
would you
find
say
some
Larry,
nice-
but like with a Jurgen spin
Name.
on it?
There we go.
Attack and the local PDF is not up to the task of defending it, they call for help. And this call is first answered by nearby guard regiments on garrison duty or simply standing by. If this is not enough to contain the threat, the call for help is sent further away from the planet,
Oh, that's cool.
bringing in more forces and possibly also rerouting regiments destined for other war zones. If that still is not enough, and no more free regiments can be found, then nearby worlds are required to muster new regiments. And this call also then goes out in stages, with nearby planets being asked first, then planets further away, etc., etc. This lets the Imperium respond flexibly to threats and also try to counter a threat with a bare minimum of force. The Imperium is, after all, a very, very big place and constantly under attack, so economy of motion is extremely important. In extreme cases of large-scale threats, this stage-by-stage response also serves a second purpose. If a truly huge threat appears and carves deeply into the Imperium, the call will have gone out far enough to muster whole armies at a safe distance from the war zone. These forces can then be organized into a massive counterattack, whose goal is to sweep onwards to the last worlds and reclaim them all for the Imperium. I'm going to wrap up the video here. You may consider this the basics of the Imperial Guard, and there will be various videos on regiments, weapons, vehicles, etc. coming, and of course do feel free to suggest video topics in the comments. I have been Arch, thank you very much for watching.
But don't bother suggesting videos because he will forget.
Jeez, back when he engaged with the audience on a large scale.
Look at the top one.
Back in the days where you could talk to him without giving him money.
Yes.
And even when you give him money, he doesn't respond. Lumi, look at that top comment.
The what comment?
The top comment on the video.
Oh, top comment?
Even 9 years ago, Arch was still a massive weeb.
No, it was on the newest. It was like even 9 years later. I couldn't read it.
Arch, even 9 years ago, Arch was still a massive weeb.
Always.
Yep.
I'm gonna DM you a small video. It's like a small 2-minute video. It's of a trailer of a game, but just because it's more guard focused than I see most things are, actually.
I mean, I got sent this one from Harbinger. There you go.
Oh yeah, we watched this.
Oh, that's
Yeah, we watched this.
We'll watch it again because it's
Fantastic.
Guard Week.
Good. I've watched this like 100 times.
It's amazing. This man did godly work.
I know. Also, you need to watch his Fallout animations. It's so good.
We will watch it when it's actually done.
Yeah, his Fallout animations need to be a Lumicast reaction.
I would say Lumicast reaction. That's not long enough for a Lumicast reaction.
It can be part of it.
It can
like
be just
a
a watch
section
along.
of our Yap screens or streams.
Yeah. I love how he's the ambush first.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. Like, oh, I heard you, bitch.
I think Space Marines can actually hear a person's heart beating.
That's scary.
What they run.
Yeah,
Pretty cool. Helmets have everything stopping.
I keep forgetting armor colors because, like, who's the dudes in the green?
Those are Dark Angels.
Those are the Dark Angels.
Or the First Legion.
Don't confuse them like that.
Well, I mean, that's their number. I love how he took a rocket, he's still alive, like, god damn it.
Yeah.
He destroyed my second heart. I want it.
Well, he was in... Yeah. It went through him. Things.
So, by the way, Sodas won't be doing any more Fallout after the Helios one is done.
What?
Well, I wonder what he's moving on to next.
I mean, he's been kind of just going around. He's been going around doing whatever he wants, to be honest, which is fine.
His Halo animation was pretty good as well.
Well, yes, it was superb.
It was.
Horse.
Pussies.
Horse.
It's Lumi's horse. It's Pebbles. It's an army of Pebbles. We cloned and mass-produced Pebbles.
An army of pebbles holding apples.
The grizzly bear Pebbles.
Yeah. People. This is Pebbles got fucked by a grizzly bear. This is the amalgamation of it.
Oh god.
Even Space Marine can't step to the power of horse.
I do love how they just have a shaped charge on the end of a spear.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
Yeah.
Ah. Ooh, the heretics. They think they're prepared.
Any other regiment, yeah, they'd probably get a bunch of them killed and then maybe retreat, but all these guys.
That's a dumb thing to do.
Well, to be fair, if he has space next to you, I'd probably still be right?
Maybe.
Oh yes, let's mark our position so the artillery can target us.
The artillery already knows we're there. They don't need to see.
You know, it's like as much as I like the commissary uniforms and everything, commissary, whatever.
Yeah.
I like the uniform that the Krieger have. I like that more.
Well, I mean, their trench coats are quite.
They have
scrumptious.
commissars, Lumi.
Yeah.
They look pretty
Please.
dope.
Yeah, they do. Even if they don't want to
Even-
be there.
Even
Oh,
in
the
40
funniest thing
Millennium
about
Drift.
Death Corps commissars is that basically what Arch described the job of a commissar. The Death Corps commissars, their job is the opposite.
Yes.
They
You
have,
normally have to motivate you to fight. I have to motivate you to not fight.
yeah, the
Stop
commissars
trying-
are actually, Death Corps commissars are actually there to restrain the men.
Yes.
They serve more of a strategic role and less of a political officer role. Like, please
I
don't waste
see.
your lives.
Stop giving your life. The Emperor does not want you.
Not yet.
Yep.
Stop charging the one machine gun nest.
Go
Ugh.
around, you pricks.
Yeah, like-
man, I need Death Corps Lumi. I need that. Ugh.
The Death Corps are very, very eager to sacrifice their lives, but the commissar needs to make sure they do not sacrifice themselves
Well, you see,
unnecessarily.
here's the thing. They do it gladly, but even they will not do it pointlessly.
Exactly.
There's
They
a
have to
difference
know-
between
they
sacrifice and
believe-
suicide.
If they believe they win, they'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
They won't do it
Okay.
pointlessly though.
The way I
Genocide
would
and sacrifice.
describe Death Corps tactics is purchasing land with lives.
It's
Yes.
basically World War One tactics.
Imagine
Which is
you're
what
playing,
the
you're playing an
Kree-
RTS, and that's how it is. Because you don't care about the funny pixel man's lives. You just need to take the objective.
Okay,
Mhm.
since we're on the topic of the Death Corps, I can get autistic about this. It's basically they
Let's not get too autistic.
I'm going to take the opportunity. Basically, what the Death Corps will do is they'll send out an attack. This attack isn't actually intended to succeed. It's just intended to test defenses. Like the commander will look and go, these guys over here lasted 15 minutes. Those guys over there lasted 5 minutes. So over here, with the guys who lasted 15 minutes, that section of the line is obviously weaker. Now I'm going to send in more men to calculate the exact speed of which my men die, so I can calculate exactly how many men I need to take that point.
It's basically World War One trench fair tactics.
But taken to the extreme.
Yes.
To the logical extreme of,
Yeah.
well, you're
With-
just a piece of ammunition.
Precise mathematics about men's lives. It's
Yes.
really interesting, actually.
Because they will do like flanking, like they won't just charge every single time. They will flank, they will maneuver.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
they aren't afraid to charge the front line of machine guns.
Yeah, but
They
they will literally just perfectly mathematically calculate exactly how many men are required to take a position and hold it, and then send exactly that amount of men. And then
Honestly,
just
they are literally
that's-
Perturabo's favorite guard regiment
Yeah.
right there. If he was in modern day, like, I love you guys.
I mean, that's kind of what Perturabo did with the Imperial Army that were with him. Which
That's
is
what
why
he
the
did with his own
Imperial Army-
fucking legion.
Yeah, that's true.
I know, but that's why the Imperial Army hated going to Perturabo, and that's why it was kind of viewed as a punishment for the Imperial Army because he treated them like Kriegers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the Kriegers existed back then, he'd be taking them everywhere.
Yeah, but Kriegers
Oh
were
god,
like
yeah.
that.
They would be his favorite boys.
I do love the
God.
Death Corps. They are my favorite, absolute
Imagine
favorite.
if Perturabo commanded the siege of Vrax with Death Corps as his soldiers.
He'd win, like, in a
Ooh.
year.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Instead of what
Couple
was
years,
that? What was that? Jolker, the idiot
Jolka, yeah.
they put in charge. Oh god, he was an asshat.
No, he was just useless. He didn't do shit.
I mean, fuck. Once they put Arnhem Kagori in charge, he made massive progress within this time span.
like in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about a year. It took about
Well,
a
he
year,
had to
but
make
did,
gains like in a month though to show that he could do this.
He did what Arnhem Kagori couldn't do for like 10 years in like 1 year.
Lumi has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
I have
yes.
no idea.
You're saying names. I don't get these names.
Right,
What are
we're
these?
I don't
Lumi,
know
you
what these
seriously do- like,
I don't know what
on
these
your
names
free
are,
time-
but Napoleon Dynamite came out 21 years ago today.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
That's nice, Lumi. Thank you.
In all seriousness, Lumi, in your free time, you do need to watch Archer's Siege of Rax. It's a great thing to put on in the background while you're doing something else.
And Lumi, when
I
he
will
says your
probably
free
listen
time,
to it while I am building my Thopter today.
Unironically, like when you're doing your Final Fantasy weird whatever gay shit,
Yes,
just put it on the
because
background.
the Siege of Vrax is almost 48 hours long.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yep.
the Badab were still longer after that.
But
I've listened to Archer's Siege of Rax 3 times, I think.
I'm at
5.
5, and Badab is at 4.
3 times for Badab for me.
And then
Yeah.
I also read the actual Siege of Rax book, and it was shit.
I wanted to get that one, but I can never find it.
They did something interesting. So there was this one part in the book. Okay, I don't really mind spoiling this because the book was kind of shit. So plug your ears for the next 5 minutes if you don't want to know. You're not really missing out on anything. There was this one traitor amongst the Vraxians that surrendered, and he was being interrogated, and he's found out, well, he's actually really repentant because he didn't know what the hell was going on. He didn't know he was a rebel. He didn't understand what was going on, and he's really, really feeling bad about it. So the ecclesiarchy confessor who was with them pretty much comes to the conclusion, you pretty much got the exact same attitude as the Death Corps. You are suicidal and you want to repent. So they give him a Death Corps uniform, and he just goes over the top with the rest of the lads.
I don't think the Death Corps would allow that. I'm sorry.
No, not a fucking chance.
I see what they were going with that, and it's an interesting, but I don't think it works.
I don't agree with the. We're going to give him a Death Corps uniform. Like no.
No, he
Give
would
him
just
a
be put in the
outfit
Penal Legion.
and make
Well,
him
actually,
first
well,
in
okay.
line.
There's some extra stuff there that needs a context. So he was in some tunnels, got attacked by Death Corps engineers, and then the Death Corps engineers got routed by Khorne Berserkers. He picked up a Death Corps uniform, and he fled down the tunnel with the Death Corps, and he basically pretended to be one for months. The only reason they found him out is because he didn't know how to operate a mole launcher.
No,
So-
no,
Seems kinda sus.
no, that's impossible.
So
The Death
he-
Corps have their own battle camp. There's no way he
Yeah.
would have been able to blend in.
Well,
Yeah,
the
but
author of the book
he
clearly
did it
didn't
for
know
like-
that, but yeah, so he was basically in their regiment for like months, just being one of them, following orders. So again, I see what they were trying to do, but it doesn't work.
No.
But it was my favorite part of the book, and that's saying something.
Best case scenario would have been the ecclesiarchy being like, all right, you're going into a penal regiment, but we're
Exactly.
going to treat you slightly better because you actually feel bad, but you'll be first in line.
Well, that was basically what happened, but
Yes, you're right. The mole didn't know how to operate a mole launcher.
Oh my God.
literally.
And one more thing, I would also like. When did this happen in the Siege of Rex? Because it was obvious there was chaotic activity going on.
I think it was.
Nobody.
If it's the Chaos Berserkers, then that's the siege of Vault A4, whatever, because that's what
Yeah,
happened.
some underground tunnels with Khorne Berserkers running rampant.
Yeah, so that would have
Yeah.
been when they assaulted the vaults underground, then, because that's when that was a big thing.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
there's
Is-
no
okay,
way
now I
someone
remember.
associated with Chaos would have been allowed to join. He would have basically been shot on sight as a
Yeah.
because you don't fuck with Chaos.
There was
Yeah.
also a scene where a Khorne Berserker walks up to the guy, picks him up by the scruff of the neck, looks at him, and goes, "Not enemy," and tosses him aside. Like a Khorne Berserker showing restraint? I don't think so.
I mean, it's not as crazy as I'd like to say, but damn.
I mean, I can see it happening, but I'd also pretty much see it as just as likely as the Khorne Berserker goes, it's a friend, but I'll kill it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got it in my hands. It's already right there. I've got it. I may as well kill it.
Yeah. The corn does not care from whence the blood flows, only that
Exactly.
it flows.
So yeah, that was my favorite part of the book, and it's not great.
We should probably finish this video up for Harbinger.
Anyway, let's continue on, shall we?
Okay.
Yes.
My ramblings aside, I really don't like this book.
Music is
Oh, and also there are tons of female death corps throughout the entire book as well, and all of them are officers for some fucking reason.
All of them. Yeah.
Yep.
Just stay back.
Hey, look, he's got bunny ears. What happens to that?
He won't have bunny ears.
Yeah, I always like my head canon is it was another one berserker. There's two of
I
them.
used to assume he hit his head on the door frame.
Yeah, he just hit that and he broke off. That made it cheap plastic.
Yeah. I know that Soda's probably he fucked up with the continuity, but my head canon is that there's a second berserker running around in there. Because the berserker you saw with the bunny ears, he had a bunch of dudes with him, but this guy came busting in through the door without any dudes. But that implies a separate location in the second berserker.
Yeah.
The berserker with the bunny ears? Yes, chat, we call those the bunny ears.
No, the Brit calls them the bunny ears.
No.
There's no we here.
No, at that point you
I
just
call them
gotta
bunny ears.
you have to call them bunzerkers.
Buns. Oh, for God's
no.
sakes.
All right,
Oh
I gotta-
no, me and my friend have a running joke about Khan the bunny kicker.
Oh,
The
God.
bunny kicker?
Let me
What?
explain this. How Khan the Betrayer got his name is he was fighting on an ice world, his men refused to fight, then he took up a flamethrower and started burning everything. Got his name.
Well,
But me and my friend were
specifically, they
talking
kept
about
complaining that they were too cold, so he's like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah. Me and my friend were talking about that, and I'm like, wait, if he killed everyone on the planet, then how did he leave? And so we just theorized that he just sat there throughout the winter, waited for spring to come, and when all the animals came out, he just started punting them across the earth. Just screaming like a retard. Just watching rabbits spring out of their holes, and he just punts them into high orbit.
Jesus Christ.
And thus Khan the bunny kicker was born.
Alright. I think for now, since Kiddo is saying, Mom, I'm hungry, I'm starving, I need food.
Oh no, she's gonna die, Lumi.
She's gonna die.
I am gonna end stream so I can make food, and then
Yeah.
I'll also make food for Moose Man for when he gets home. Yes, I'm gonna
Wait,
read the
before you
super
leave.
chats before I end stream. Don't worry.
Yeah, and
Yeah, she's
before
not
you end
orange.
the stream, I will remind you we are watching Sharp this Friday. Put an
Yes.
event in your server, LumLum.
We are going to watch Sharp on Friday. Every
I don't know
time
how this British person
I
seems to have
see it, I
dark
want to say
influence.
Sharpie, but Sharp.
I did also send you a DM, which you could also just make it a stream where you just react to it, like you are doing now. Just, react, watch, pause every now and then, talk about it.
I don't feel like getting hit with a copyright claim on YouTube.
Well, it's on YouTube, so
They'll
I don't
still
think
do
it's
it.
copyrighted.
But no, believe
Yeah,
me,
that doesn't matter.
they'll still do it. I could probably do it on Kick, but that means people would have to go to Kick, and I know a lot of people are like, but I don't want to go over there. But it's like I make money hourly when I stream over there, and I get more per hour the more people are over
Here's the
there.
thing, LumLum. There are 0 reaction channels that have ever covered Sharp. You will be the first.
Well, then we'll do that. We'll do that over on Kick, and then I can get an editor to like chop it down for it to be a video on YouTube.
Oh fuck yeah!
Oh,
Ooh.
Monkey's gonna have something to do.
So we'll do that on Friday, okay? We'll watch
Yeah.
Sharpie on Kick on Friday.
I am very happy.
All right.
What's wrong?
Let's see. Already did that one. Mercenary. So combine Arch's the love of horse meat and his Oedipus Rex fetish. What unholy outcome is that combination that makes it? No, it sounds horrifying. So on the list, thank you for being a member for 10 months. I'm all get attached to the chem dogs, or worse, the space wolves.
She wants to get abused by the chem dogs.
Yes.
Those are
Mercenary.
useless
Christ
space
returns this year before the year before Arch finishes, and then Mercenary again. So with Jungle Fighters, Chuck Norris and Dundee? Question mark.
No.
Hello,
actually-
LumLum. Might want to be careful when you're saying my knife is bigger than yours. I thought you wanted to end the Larry accusations from Chat and Arch. There's a difference between a knife and a dick. God.
The Larry,
That just
the
gave you
Larry
an idea
meme
for a
needs
new
to
AI
end.
channel.
It's too forced. It needs to end.
Yes.
It wasn't made organically like the footfish.
God damn it.
That's what you think. I'm gonna make it.
It was made artificially. I don't like it as a meme.
I am
You're
alternate
artificial.
to you.
Reject Larry.
I reject you.
That's pretty transphobic, Alex.
I am transphobic.
Mercenary is
Fair enough.
talking about the
Homophobic.
knife, but I agree on Jungle. Mara. Arch is a poor painter and has said that you'll never see his minis as they're only really base coated. His Skaven are just spray painted brown.
Well, I mean,
That is
we know what
exactly
happens to people that have poor painting skills.
We call
Um,
them lazy bastards.
Yes.
I call them
Mercenary
Swedish.
also jungle fires only respect one commissar. Grulgar, whatever. Help, my Bane blade keeps acting up lights incense. Huh?
Don't worry about it.
Huh?
Baneblade's tank.
We're trying to make the tank happy, okay? It's fine.
Mercenary, now they have the new lore with Big E's birth son. What?
They got rid of the
Don't
season
ask.
Oh,
before.
cringe.
Mercenary, Cyphus Cain is a descendant of the Emperor. Anything that says otherwise is heresy, and I will commissar you if you disagree. Won't hear otherwise.
I say against it. Fuck you.
We see. Well, guess what? Commissar Caiaphas Cain is a modest man, so no, he is not the descendant of the God Emperor.
Also,
That wouldn't
Boog.
stop the God Emperor from resurrecting him like Saint Celestine, though.
Yeah, and he
I
hasn't
don't-
been.
Guess what? I don't see him alive now, do I?
But
Yeah.
He
according-
retired and died, my dude.
Hey, you can't say that. It is rules in the Militarum that Caiaphas Cain can never be KIA. He is only ever to be listed as MIA.
So he's a Spartan now.
Are you trying to bake fucking Halo lore in here?
No, this is actually
No,
something
he's
that
right.
Everly
He's
comments
right.
on.
He's right. I do remember that.
Son of a bitch.
Powder needs to start fucking streaming on YouTube so I can read over to her, but she doesn't.
She just started doing multi-stream on Kick, so you should talk to her and help her through that process, Lumi, so you can formulate
You
a
should.
relationship and stream
You
on
should be a
Wednesdays.
friend.
Stop
And
that.
then
I'm
you
gonna
can
read
force
over
it.
to her on
Alex.
Twitch.
I will force it as much as I
You are
fucking
now
want.
making an inorganic friendship. You're gay.
Alright, guys. Well, wait, hold on. I got one more. Beardmaster Deathcorp Lumi would make Eclipse Lasgun happy. God damn it. Alright, but thank you for joining, everybody. I will see you
Yeah, good
guys
chat.
tomorrow for Darkwood before I get more cursed fan art and I get harmed. Not IRL, but Mechanicus really likes the Darkwood stream, so we'll do that tomorrow. I will
He
play.
really likes those Finnish woods.
That's gonna be fun. All right.
I feel this parasocial relationship going stronger.
But- On Twitch and Kick, we will raid over to Powder, and on YouTube, we will be raiding over to Coconut.
Yeah.
Cringe.
Good night, everybody, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye bye.